So, basically, the World Eater smiles and thanks you for the cake. And Doctor, you are immediately filled with warmth as this godlike being gives you this big, toothless grin and then moves off into the universe, destroying everything in its wake happily.
I wanted that cake.
Sometimes we must sacrifice.
I won't eat that cake. The end. What if that was the button line of that bizarre ass episode of Doctor Who? I won't eat that cake. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of TBD RPG. Yes, indeed. We are. I love that the gas mask is sitting up there. Did you guys read the note on the front of the gas mask?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you my mommy.
They left it.
The crew left it for us.
They left it where I'm meant to sit, by the way.
Andrew Garfield is in that episode.
You bastards.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield is in that episode. Yeah, he's all over it. He's the kid that kind of runs around with the Doctor. You know,
That's Andrew Wow.
Yeah.
No.
Blows
He's in
your
the
mind.
New York one with the pigs.
Huh?
He's in the New York one,
Isn't
isn't
he?
he?
The pigs, isn't he?
He might. So it's not unusual to see that actor come back and play a different role. It happens. Yeah.
Yeah, because
So he's
Martha was
probably in both.
previously Martha's cousin
Yeah.
Right.
was
Right.
killed.
Yes. All right. So before we jump into today's game, 2 things we're going to talk about before we get to any announcements. First of all, I just want to acknowledge how blistering warm I am in this outfit.
It's so worth it, though. We decided
we
it's
love
worth
it.
it.
I'm getting a very good appreciation for what Baker probably went through.
But he was on the cold streets of
Be
London.
freezing.
That's true.
He was
He's
running
probably
around being like,
glad
haha,
for
get
it.
to wear this scarf.
That's very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, before we jump into it, then, does anybody have any announcements? Anybody want to say anything vulgar or anything
I have permission to say
irrelevant?
vulgar?
Sure. I mean, Sax will probably cut the stream and then file.
I mean, you're a
Oh, wait,
pirate.
I'm
That's
director.
just
I'm a
inherent.
pirate. Don't tempt me.
Okay. So we're going to start here.
We're good.
Announcement-wise, we're all very sad to hear that Capaldi is moving on and excited to find
Yeah,
out
let's
what
talk
his
about that
Yeah.
really briefly before we jump into the game. I am sad that Capaldi is leaving. I know everyone's showing up for the RPG, but this is big news because Capaldi announced that this is going to be his last year. And there's been a lot of mixed reactions and feelings, but the truth of the matter is, especially this last season of Capaldi, which was brilliant in my mind, I'm going to be sad to see him go because I felt like this last season of Capaldi was a perfect blend of the first Doctor and the 9th Doctor. I felt like it was sort of like, but also traumatized and kind of, laughing because it hurts kind of like, I loved this past season of Capaldi's. It was really, really good.
Well, I'm kind of frustrated because I stayed away from it for a long time because I heard bad things from
About
some
his
people.
return season? Yeah.
And then I just finally started watching it a couple of weeks ago because of the show. I felt like I should catch up.
Yeah.
And then right when I'm into it,
They announced it.
I'm like,
Yeah, but of course this has thrown the gates open to discussions of who the next Doctor is going to be. We're already eager to know. And there's already a huge outcry that it needs to be a woman. And I've actually seen...
or Richard Ayoade.
Richard Ayoade is what I've heard.
Yeah. I've also seen...
amazing.
Right?
Holy
How
crap.
great would that be?
Who?
Richard
Moss
Ayoade.
from the IT crowd.
Oh,
Yeah.
My doppelganger.
Yeah. I
My
still
high
think...
voice doppelganger.
So that,
Boy!
Oh, man.
I love that line of like, I like your glasses. They're not for sale.
My
4,
favorite.
5, fire!
Yeah, real
I
quick.
like the milk line.
I've heard...
That was my
drink milk and
kick ass, and I just finished my
meal.
meal. That was my Halloween costume last year.
No way.
I will find that and we should tweet that.
It's
Yes.
too real, Roy. It's too real.
Okay.
So to close out the
Sorry,
discussion,
guys.
Yep.
no, that's okay. To close it out, so we can get to the game. I've heard the name. So I would love to see. First of all, for those of you who may not know, the look of Amy's incarnation of the Doctor is actually based on Emma Thompson, which I think would be a brilliant choice for a Doctor. I've also heard some people say Judi Dench, which would be amazing. I don't know that would ever happen, but that would be amazing.
Haley Atwell.
Haley Atwell is my choice. I would love to see Haley Atwell.
Who's Haley Atwell?
Haley
Agent
Atwell.
Carter. Peggy Carter.
Oh, right.
So
Agent Peggy Carter.
classy,
Yeah,
right?
she would be so awesome.
I've been on Team
So
Judy for a
classy.
while, for like a couple Doctors now, but
Haley Atwell
Haley
would be sweet
Atwell.
if they picked that.
He would
Very
say,
strong.
do as Peggy says.
I've also heard someone say Idris Elba, but the thing is, Idris would be good in anything.
Oh, yeah.
I'm down for
Exactly.
Idris.
As soon as there's a new casting for anything big
Yeah.
in England, people are like, Idris Elba.
It doesn't
of course.
God's
have to be an
sake.
Every time.
That man is awesome.
Yeah.
I've loved everything.
Cast him in everything.
Yeah.
Everything ever.
All right, so let's go ahead and give the fans of our audience here the timestamp that this is the moment when the episode finally begins. Because I noted that on YouTube, they'll timestamp. Okay, game starts at 8 minutes into the episode. All right, so we'll go ahead and start off because we left off on.
One more thing.
Oh yes. Oh
Sorry.
yes. The Sonic screwdriver.
Look
Please.
what I have this week because Gina
Yay.
is a wizard and just had this at home because she made it years ago because she wanted a Sonic because that's what Gina, the craft wizard, does.
I go, should I buy that or can I make it? Let's see.
This thing is made out of hot glue.
She
The entire thing
sculpted,
is
entire
just
thing.
sculpted that
hot glue.
Sonic screwdriver out of hot glue and painted it.
Sculpted out of hot glue.
That's pretty
So are
impressive.
you happy with the Warlock Pact that you've made? Do you want to switch Warlock Pacts or is this really the one for you?
You know,
I thought I'd miss my soul, but I'm okay.
I, on the other hand, only have the Sonic Spork.
Yay!
I have the Sonic Spork.
Yay!
That's
my-
amazing.
The Sporks, yeah.
I haven't tried to eat cereal and or stab things with mine, but we'll find out.
Okay.
All right, so let's get into the episode. If you'll excuse me, I apologize for anyone who's been enjoying this, but holy hell. Okay, I'll leave the scarf on. I'll leave the scarf on.
He's
do
just
we-
too hot, guys.
So, do we replenish story points today?
Story points. Everyone's going to get back 4 story points.
Yes!
And I will be rewarding them periodically throughout the game as well. Remember, you get story points for role-playing your I forget what your not your merits, but your flaws, basically.
Bad traits.
Negative
Yeah,
traits.
your negative traits. If you like I was saying to Duncan earlier, in this game, if you role play any negative traits that you picked up during character creation, like insatiable curiosity or bad, in Gina's case, Finn has a really bad temper.
I do.
If you role play those moments, they feed story points, and they also lead to some pretty interesting encounters. So, so I highly encourage you guys to not forget your bad traits because
foreboding.
even though they're
Yeah.
detrimental, they are
That's player.
awesome. So when we last left off, we had a bit of a holy shit moment. You guys had arrived on Earth per Duncan's request. I keep forgetting Cillian's name, Cillian Rail. We had arrived on Earth per Cillian's request because he wanted to go back and see what home looked like in this new alternate universe that you guys have spilled into. The plot has been thickening. It looks like these rips in space-time are sort of closing themselves. It looks like they're keen to heal themselves. But for some reason, they're not disappearing. The thing is what you've probably noticed by now, is they heal when you show up. But for the most part, they haven't. They've been very consistent until you show up. So you guys have been investigating that. Upon returning to London, you ran into some old friends. The word impossible gets thrown around a lot in Doctor Who. You guys stepped out of the TARDIS, arriving in present-day London just after leaving the early 1700s in the Caribbean, only to arrive in the streets of London just to find Captain Finn, who you just left from like 400 or 500 years ago, running towards you, accompanied by Rocococo, who was thought to be dead in the vacuum of space as they had been sucked out into
Try
oblivion.
harder, vacuum of space.
Yes. What a fail. What a fail on I'm disappointed in you, Space. Disappointed. Lots of incredible story reveals took place shortly after that. It was revealed that Roko and their friend Finn have been basically jumping galaxies for 11 years in a sort of hit-and-run resistance fight against the Time Lords of Gallifrey, who apparently have become tyrannical in this universe, and who have a secret police called the Temporal Guard that have forbidden all time travel. And they have basically caused a lockdown, and any time travel takes place, they are drawn to that moment, kind of like the agents in the Matrix, and are sent to hunt down and exterminate or annihilate or whatever, kill everybody who is guilty of the time traveling. And they have, you two have eluded them for over a decade now, which is relative in this game. But for 11 years, so the incredible adventures. I imagine what I'm picturing as like if I was a fan like watching this on TV, I picture there's probably like a ton of audio plays and audio books of you and Sam's adventures together. Like I totally It's like the Sarah Jane adventures kind of like off on the side.
Yeah, there's fanfic.
Yeah, totally.
For all the shenanigans.
We already know that there's probably somebody out there shipping the hell out of these two. Let's just face it.
I thought it was a thing. What? Is it not a thing? I just assumed from last time. I guess I'm the one shipping.
Told you. You didn't have to go far. I didn't even have to log on to Tumblr to find this. I just right there.
Well, you did
do whatever you want. I'm just saying.
I did captain a ship.
That's true. So, running around the galaxies
And I
together.
completely ignored super hot tall Jim, apparently.
Yes, poor Jim.
Poor heartbroken Tom.
Yes, poor heartbroken Luke Cage Jim.
Mammal isn't your type.
Yes, the other thing is when you encountered Captain Finn again in this present day, Captain Finn is loaded to the brim with a cable-like cybernetic arm in which she used to shove an entire garbage dumpster, or rubbish bin, I should say.
Rubbish bin.
A big-ass metal rubbish bin towards these temporal guards who showed up to annihilate you guys.
Yes.
There was a fight that ensued. You all escaped. Everything was laid bare. That the Doctor in this reality is dead. No one knows how, but he was killed and did not regenerate. No one remembers how it happened or when it happened, only that the information is out there that it did happen. It's just as much of a mystery that you guys don't know how it happened. Never mind. It's weird that nobody remembers it, but that everybody knows it. And that's part of the mystery as well. Like, how is that? Because no one seems to know. During this whole process, it was discovered that there was Time Lord DNA being detected on the planet Earth, which, as Gina's character Finn revealed, Earth has been quarantined. So there should be no one here. By the order of Gallifrey and the High Council of Gallifrey, no one extraterrestrials to visit Earth. And time travel, of course, being forbidden, it's doubly so. And yet, Time Lord was detected here on Earth. There was, I love this because in chat, there was a lot of people that just, oh my God, it's the Master. Oh my God, it's the Master. And then, no. It was not the Master. You guys arrived on scene after Roko had a precognition. They saw the death of whoever this Time Lord was and all of these people getting killed at a cafe. Using that precog that Roko gave y'all, you basically showed up at this cafe to discover, holy shit, it's you, the Doctor. It's David Tennant, number 10 Doctor regeneration. Except it's not, except it is. It is, in fact, the half-human clone that was created during, I believe the episode was called, it was the Doomsday episode, I believe, when Davros was about to detonate the reality bomb and blah, blah, blah.
Journey's End, maybe?
It may have, what is it?
It might have been Journey's End.
Oh, I think it was Journey's End. It was Journey's End, yes. It was Journey's End.
Crisis.
It was Journey's End. I think it was a two-parter episode. I think one of those was. I could be getting this confused. Whatever. There's
Chat knows.
There's a lot of episodes. We
there are
forgive
19
you.
seasons of Doctor Who. I probably got that wrong.
There's a Steffling stampede going on.
There's a Steffling stampede. Stefflings! Yay,
It
welcome.
means our friend Steph Woodburn has sent, just finished her broadcast and sent everyone over to visit us.
Steph Woodburn.
It's
yes.
salutations.
It's a stampede.
Steph Woodburn should come back. Should play Captain Jack. That'd be fun. Get Steph Wood in here to play Captain Jack.
I'm so into this idea.
Barrowman!
That's exciting.
So to wrap it, so you managed to encounter this Doctor. You also encountered Rose. And a baby. There was a child. A name David got dropped before she teleported away, before she was grabbed by you guys and zapped out of there. You managed to also grab the clone Doctor and get him the hell out of there, trying to get back to the TARDIS. And then the Doctor and Cillian ran. Because at this point you had managed to, you had a monster roll. If I remember correctly, you had a monster roll and you took out the two temporal guards, you stunned them.
Yeah.
And that is where we pick up. You guys are in the heat of running right now.
Running down
as
an
fast as
alley.
you can. What's that?
We're running down an alley.
Yeah, you guys tore down an alley. Yeah, it's a dramatic moment as you guys are tearing down this alleyway, your footsteps slamming heavily into the pavement as you're trying to keep ahead of whatever might be chasing you. As that happens, you guys manage to break through this alleyway out into the streets of London where you see busy cars driving by, the daily life. No one has any idea of what's going on, of course. It's like a Men in Black moment where no one has any idea that you're being chased by aliens kind of thing. You guys run out onto the sidewalk, and as this happens, I need you both to make a... Oh, and this is why I need a character sheet in front of me. I'm so used to... Okay, let's pull this out.
We both have the trait "run for your life."
Oh, that is going to come in handy.
do
That is an
you?
actual trait in Doctor Who, yes. And I highly recommend every player take it.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
London.
I don't have that.
This is
This
really
is what London
familiar.
sounds like?
No.
No. Okay, so I need everyone
not
to
much
make
of
an
a run.
awareness ingenuity check.
Just saying.
Awareness.
Just sounds like rain, to be honest.
Awareness
Which is
ingenuity
lovely,
check.
especially now.
The difficulty is going to be normal, 12. You just need a 12. So roll, so this is for you too, Cillian. So Cillian and the doctor, I need you to make an ingenuity and awareness check.
That
Difficulty is 12.
maxed out ingenuity comes in handy a lot. 20.
Okay.
14.
Like, why do I have the doctor roll? You know, like why?
You're going to Usain Bolt for it.
Okay, you both spot him. The moment you get out into the alleyway, they're there.
There.
The two temporal guards who you just left on their backs on the pavement,
No.
they're standing about 20 feet away on the same side of the street as you guys are, and you see them with a few people in front of them. They point you out and you hear them shout at you, and one of them shoves a woman aside and levels the gun. This is in public, so there are people between you and them.
Why won't you die?
Wait, what is that from? Why won't you die?
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers, that's right.
I'm sorry, England. I'm sorry.
You betrayed the homeland. My
Now
God.
you can never go home.
No.
Well,
Well, our friend
can
Donnie
never
has
go
already
home.
seen to that.
all right, so
Sorry.
we are going straight into initiative here. They are going to, I'm going to tell you right now, their intention is to open fire. They want to kill you guys.
Right. Is
Wanna
there
show
cover
there to be
around us?
What's that?
Is there cover around us?
Yes, there is a lot of people.
That's not cover.
Well, it's going to make it harder for them to shoot you.
Operation Human Shield.
yeah.
Here we go.
The doctor's like, don't worry, I got this. And you start shoving innocent people in front of you. Yeah, that would cost you some story points.
I would think so.
So there is, I mean, this is busy streets of London. There's plenty of cars. There's like parked cars. There's plenty of parked cars on the side of the street. There are buildings. There are trash bins. I mean, picture like, if you want, you can just tell me, because the truth of the matter is this is a busy London street.
Yeah.
So you're going to see all of the things you see, like lampposts and newsstands and everything. It's just laying out here. So if you want to throw yourself behind cover, it's totally doable.
All right. Would that be a doing or a running?
That would be a doing. I would
think,
say.
I think that's really the only viable choice right now, isn't it?
So there's also 1 second, because you actually could. Actually, I think you can do this as a reaction. I think there is a rule that lets you if they fire. First of all, if they fire, you can react to it to resist the roll, because there's no AC in this game, so everything is a resisted roll. So if they shoot at you, it's a roll to dodge. So I would say, if you want to attempt to...
And you've just used your makeshift Molotov thing.
Yeah, I probably still have
okay.
more, but that's too risky with
So-
a huge crowd.
Yeah.
So this is what will happen.
block is still
This
loaded,
is
though.
I'm gonna give this
That's true.
since
Has not
this
gone
is
off.
That's
our
a good
first
point,
chase like
thank you.
firefight scene in the game. I'm gonna go ahead and just give you guys heads up. So when they fire at you, it's gonna be a resisted roll to hit you guys. The other thing is it's gonna be very difficult because there's a lot of, first of all, it's a chase. You guys are moving, and whether you like it or not, you guys have a lot of cover. Now it doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna shoot people, but if they roll poorly, they will. And there's almost nothing you can do to stop that if it's them, if you're trying to get away. Do you know what I mean? Unless you confront them,
Yeah.
really, it's going to be them shooting at your backs as you're running.
Yeah.
So if you guys stop to take cover, there's very good chance this is going to become a straight up combat scene. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're going to probably pin you guys down. If you run, you'll get your reactions to dodge, and they'll get the difficulty enhanced because of all the chaos and whatnot. And then it'll be calculating your speed and finding out if they can catch up to you guys or not. Although, also a tip from the DM without use, the DM, the GM, whatever you want to call me. Just be nice about it. That's all. The one tip I will give you without having to spend a story point is that it's not a stretch for me to tell you that assume that they're going to have that getting away is going to be tricky because they are just suddenly here right now. Like the evidence that they just reappeared here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So take all that into account as you make your call.
The hiding and running choices both involve collateral damage, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
But he did say we have an option to confront them. I don't know what we would do exactly.
I've got a flintlock. Thanks for the reminder.
Click, don't worry, I got this.
I mean, it's worked the last couple of times.
Yeah,
I've
now
got
you're in
really
range.
Miraculously,
And now
your
you are.
little, miraculously fighting the temporal guard of Gallifrey with
has
a
worked
flintlock
out
in the
in my
1700s.
favor.
And
They weren't
gunpowder.
expecting
Yes,
that.
and gunpowder. You have
Has
done
worked
remarkably well.
beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not what
With
you have,
no
it's how you
training.
use it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna last.
No.
This is not gonna. I'm not gonna last.
Okay. God,
Only Time Lords
for the
can deal with
first
those
time,
Yes.
I really don't
My
know
human
what
sweat
to
glands
do.
are kicking.
Normally, I go, well, screw it, I'll just do that one. But I have no idea this time.
They are following us. We've got to
We've
stop
gotta
them
make a
from doing
choice.
that.
Run away, I've got to. Get away. Gina's into it.
I am.
I'll
yeah.
take
I
the-
can't not dance
I'll
to
take
that.
that hint.
All right, so what are you guys gonna do?
They're just gonna teleport after us if we run. But we could try to run to a less full of innocent bystanders area.
Yeah,
True.
Is there
that's
like?
a good idea.
Are there empty lots in London? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
So this
Here
is
and there.
so.
Here and there.
So if you're gonna do that, I'm gonna make this your doer roll.
Okay.
If you're gonna try to scan the area to try to find a place to go,
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try and kick in one of the doors in the alleyway. Because back alleyways in London are usually a side entrance into whatever building is down that alleyway.
I'm gonna give that to
Pretty
you.
unanimously.
I'm gonna give that to you instead of being an ignorant American and assuming I know better than you. I'm gonna.
You
take
can
this
get
as
away
not
with anything.
manipulating the storyteller.
I know.
You're like, by
I've
the
been
way,
doing it for
also
10
in the
years.
UK. By the way, also in the UK, citizens can instantaneously destroy Time Lords at a blink in the eye.
Right. Yes,
Just so
that's
you
the thing.
know. Okay, so which actually technically is true because if they cancel Doctor Who, that would be.
Don't even use those words.
I can't believe I said that.
Why would you say that on the
I'm
internet?
so sorry. I don't know what I just did. I'm so
It's
sorry.
not like they've done
God.
it a
Anyway,
bunch
thanks
of
for watching
times
TBD RPG.
before.
Get on with it.
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna try
Seriously,
to,
let's
okay.
get on with it.
So you guys are gonna try to kick in a door.
I'm gonna try and kick in the door.
All right, so then you guys are gonna be doers, and I'm guessing the doctor is gonna follow.
I'm on board
suit.
with this plan. Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
all
So
right.
then, I'm gonna need you to. I'm probably gonna need you to spend one story point here
Okay.
to do so that there is a door available to you,
Okay.
and then
That makes sense.
I won't even. But as a trade-off, I won't let you don't have to roll to kick it in.
Oh, so I'm in.
Yeah, basically, I'm gonna let you spending a story point to alter the narrative a little bit. You're gonna be like, oh look, a door. And then I'll let you guys kick that in.
It's open.
Yeah.
In the door,
That's the
waving
doctor
the
kicking in.
So basically, you guys run out into the street. You see these guys. You slam on the brakes. Essentially, you turn around. Ceiling goes, grabs the doctor, and you kick in the door just in time to see a waiter go, oh, and just kind of jumps back and like plates spilling everywhere as you kick this door in. You just entered the kitchen of a pub. And you guys bolt inside just in time to see these bright green bolts go flying right past you. And then you hear all these screams from outside as people scatter from the gunfire.
They scatter.
You guys are now inside the kitchen. There are people, the cooks in this kitchen, everyone's frozen to see what the hell's going on.
Sorry, excuse us, bit of a rush.
And you guys tear through the kitchen. You bust out of the swinging door into this pub. It's relatively empty, so it's no problem getting through here. and I'm guessing you continue to run?
Yes.
Okay, you run down through this dark pub, pushing your way very as nicely as possible through a couple of people. You shove your way through a bouncer who is just checking someone's. Do they do that in the UK?
Yes, they do.
Shove your way through a bouncer.
Not in a pub, but in a bar. So if it was a bar, they would do that.
Oh, but it's a pub
if it
here,
was a
so
pub,
yeah.
there wouldn't be one.
Okay, he shoves his way past some random person who was in another reality a bouncer, but has been corrected and is now not. You guys run out into the street as this guy gets shoved at the side. You're now on the opposite. You've basically gone into another corner of the street, so you're a block away on the other side of the block, essentially, of where you just were standing. And you're still probably about 2.5 blocks away from the TARDIS.
I say we run for it, try to call these guys, and keep an eye out for teleporting temporal guards.
Sounds good to me, Doctor.
Okay, you continue your bolts.
Let's pretend I said all of that in character.
And let's pretend I'm a little less composed right now. Sounds good to me, Doctor.
Okay.
You know.
Making some rolls here.
Do we have communication devices?
Miraculous.
Ask your Sonic.
That's a great question.
I guess I still have that
we've
cell
got these
phone
things.
that
Yeah.
I used in the 1700s.
Oh,
at
it's
one
dead
time.
now, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
dead.
it's
Something
dead.
happened?
Yeah, you batteried that thing into
dead
oblivion. It makes you wonder, does the Doctor have an iPhone port on the TARDIS? Probably not. Because then there'd be a copyright issue, and then the Doctor would be sued by Apple.
I feel like Android.
Android.
Calling it now.
Hey, Handles.
Yeah, Doctor would
Handles
use
plugged into the
Android.
TARDIS.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's an Android, right?
Although they keep needing to be upgraded, and that's really.
Okay. They
I
do not
think the Doctor
reappear
can
as
handle
you guys turn the corner and start running again.
Fantastic.
It's got a
Y'all
high,
dodge a few more people. You
technology
kind of.
score.
Let me ask you this: Are you guys going to be skipping traffic laws? Like, are you going to wait for red lights?
No.
Just
This is
checking.
London.
I just
You don't
imagine you
wait
guys
for
stopping. Wait,
anything.
don't walk.
I might
Okay, go,
pause
go,
for a
go.
moment, and you'll be like, "No, this is London."
Yeah, okay, that just happened.
Then I'm going to need you all to make a. I'm going to need you all to make it. No, just the ones that are running.
Oh, okay.
So this is going to be.
All. Meaning half.
Sorry, meaning, when I say all, I meant 2 of you.
He's
Jesus.
The second person plural is very
It's true.
inflexible.
We Texans are ridiculously general about everything. Okay.
That got real grim.
Yeah, it does. There was a story behind that
When I was
face.
growing up, if you ordered a Coke, they would say, "Cool, what kind? Root beer?"
Huh.
Yeah.
It's not always that way, but
That's a
it
thing.
does happen.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Coke is
I
a
heard
generic
Coke is
term
a thing.
for soda.
I thought cola
Coke
was
is
a
just another
generic
word
thing
for soda.
for soda.
All right, so I'm going to need you guys
Not
to make a
just
roll
Coke.
for.
In like the 50s.
Yeah, exactly though. Like if I said
When they
Coke,
still had
Yeah,
cocaine
let's
in
do
it.
this.
cola. Yeah, exactly.
The good old days.
But cola.
This is going to be.
This
This is going to be a
I'm
coordination
kidding.
plus athletics roll.
Okay.
You guys are running.
This is traffic dodging.
This is traffic
Traffic
dodging.
dodging.
This is run and calculate your speed
I
into
like
this because
this
you guys are
roll.
running for your
Do
lives.
you get hit by a car?
Yeah,
Well,
While
we've got that
jaywalking.
run for your lives trait.
that's what I'm saying.
Plus
So
1 speed.
calculate that into it.
Okay.
So calculate run for your lives as you guys are running through.
So just +1 speed means to add to whatever we're rolling right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a +1 to this. Well, no, the +1 speed doesn't add to the rolling. This is whatever you roll. Tell me the outcome, and then you're gonna get a +1 to whatever speed factor that gives you. So
Okay.
just go ahead and tell me
Right.
what you roll.
Oh, excellent. So I got
Yeah.
7, 8, 12.
So it's
12.
our roll plus athletics and what?
It's gonna be coordination plus athletics.
Okay. 12.
Okay, cool. You guys
Yeah,
are fine.
nice.
You guys actually are making it through. Plus, yeah. So it's not that tricky because even though the streets of London are quite busy and people do jump in front of traffic, sometimes there's a lot of traffic, so there's not too many cars moving fast to have to dodge here.
And I've been doing this my whole life.
Yeah, you're like, it's just another day.
Yeah.
With a +1 to speed, I'm going to say y'all are about a block away from the TARDIS at this point,
Okay.
and it
Sweet.
seems like you've lost them. Let's find out if that is true.
Oh, God.
They rolled
This
the
is the best
exact
part
same
of Doctor
thing.
Who. The running.
I love the running.
Running,
The running.
running.
I keep waiting for there to be a track star on Doctor Who.
Oh man, that'd be so
I'm sorry, you
good.
guys rolled 12s? 2 12s?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, what?
They have
appear
not
in front of you.
they have not managed to locate you just yet.
That's good.
And you guys, okay, so then I'll need you guys to make one more coordination athletics roll.
Get it.
Still with the +1.
Yeah, y'all are running for your lives, I'm guessing.
Okay.
But it means he
12
upgrades our
again.
6.
What's that?
12 again.
12 again?
Yeah.
17.
The doctor
nice.
is very motivated.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are... Wow. Okay.
We beat a hasty retreat and got
12.
away.
Yeah, you guys actually, they rolled complete shite.
Yay!
So you guys actually managed to get back to the TARDIS without getting located.
Sweet.
You guys run around a corner. You see that familiar alleyway. You bolt towards it. Both of you terribly out of breath at this point, even though y'all are both very used to running like crazy. And as you turn the corner, you
Why
see...
are you used to running like crazy?
I'm going to say I'm getting used to running like crazy.
That's true. You probably
We
used
still
to
don't know much
stumbling
about
like
your
crazy.
former life. I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
So as you'll run around this corner, you see the familiar sights of a blaster-stricken rubbish bin that has been shoved down the alley.
Skip.
What is
Those
it?
big ones?
Oh,
Yeah.
they're
It's
called
called a
skips?
skip.
Nice.
Skip. Okay, you see a
Skip.
skip. It's got all the blaster marks, the Gallifreyan. There's no evidence that the temporal guard have arrived. What you do see is at the end of the alley is a TARDIS. You see Rocco. You see You see Finn. You see the clone 10 with Rose and the baby,
Hell
surrounded by men in black uniforms and ski masks and bulletproof vests with assault rifles, and both Finn and Rocco have their hands up, along with the 10 clone. And
Is this
Rose is holding the baby. You see they all turn and look at you two as you enter the alleyway, and you hear them, "Halt! Freeze right there! Don't move!"
Do I recognize these uniforms?
You could make a roll if you want to attempt to. They don't seem to have anything identifying on them, but go ahead and make a roll. It's going to be ingenuity and awareness. Or no, you know what? This would actually be, because you actually have some, this would be knowledge. So ingenuity and knowledge.
Oh, okay.
You're like,
I got this.
That's a base 15. Plus 9. 24.
unit.
I thought that might be...
These are unit.
I'm trying to remember the history of this parallel Earth. Rose went to work for Torchwood.
All sorts of weird stuff happened in this parallel universe.
Yeah.
The UK itself is supposed to not be the original. Like it's not. Like it's the what I believe is the United Republic of the Republic of the United Kingdom, and they had a president that was apparently killed by Cybermen or something. Like there was a whole bit of weirdness.
Many
that took
things have
place.
happened.
Yeah, so it's hard to tell. It's unit for sure, but you don't know whose side they're on,
Yeah.
and they clearly don't recognize you.
Right.
And you hear the clone go, "Look, if anyone wants to tell me what's going on, that'd be all right. That'd be really great."
Yes, what?
Sure, maybe if we could just talk for a minute.
Do you know who these
Talking
people
sounds
are?
like a good idea.
It looks like they're members of UNIT, but I don't know
Rose
whose
says,
side they're on.
"Where's
What's
the doctor?
unit?
Where's the doctor?" And then the 10 says, "Yeah, it'd be nice to say hello to him. Found his car and all." Kind of thumbs back to the TARDIS.
No sign of him.
You see
Are we
one of
hearing them,
the
or
men.
Are they far away?
What's that?
Are we hearing them? Do Unit know?
You guys
We're
are
sort
about
of-
20 feet away from each other.
Yeah.
Has Unit seen them? They have, right? Because they said stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in
Okay.
the mouth. You guys got about 10 feet into the alleyway when you kind of like had that cartoony slam on the brakes, like what? Yeah.
I'll
What
explain
should we
later.
do?
I'm not betraying any recognition yet.
Okay.
I'm waiting to see what moves they want to make.
Yeah, because you have no idea who the hell these people are. Actually, Finn, I don't think you would know who Unit was either. Earth has been quarantined.
we're
This is
not
the one
allowed on
place
Earth.
you haven't been to. Yeah.
What's a unit?
I'll explain in a moment.
You hear one of them go, "Oi," and he steps forward and lowers his gun and stares for a second, and you hear him say, "Cillian?" And
Mickey?
he takes off his ski mask, and you see Mickey looking at you like in complete shock and goes,
What the hell are you doing here?
"How are you alive?"
What?
Is this a trick?
Why would I not be alive?
You see Rose
Mickey?
go, "Mickey?" And the clone goes, "What?" Again. What is going on? Like everyone is so completely baffled by this and says,
Mickey, who's the girl? How do you know these people? Who?
We need to make sure everyone is who they say they are.
Maybe we can make sure without the guns.
Yeah,
that would be delightful.
I know who I am, so do you mind if I put my hands down? My arm kind of hurts.
That's when Rose steps forward and says, Mickey, it's us. What are you doing? What is this? What's happening? And Mickey says, lower your guns, lower your guns. I think they're all right. And everyone, the unit, all of them, they immediately lower their guns and stop pointing them at each other.
Well, that was a bit dramatic.
Mickey, what is going on?
I was going to ask you that.
Why are you holding a gun? What is this? Who are these people?
He looks around and says, we're unit. And you see the clone go, oh, well, thank you for the warm welcome. By the way, none of y'all recognize me. He kind of course we recognize you, Mickey turns around and says to him. We've been watching you for years. We need to make sure everyone is who they say they are, though. And at about that point, you hear the sounds of a helicopter in the distance.
Now what's that then?
That's backup.
That's with you.
That's with us.
Thank God.
You also see a car pulling up at the end of the alleyway. And he kind of looks down the alleyway and says, hold on. Gets on a remote and says, what's the status of the other Time Lords? No sign of them, sir. You hear through the intercom and says,
Other Time Lords?
Right.
TGs.
TGs?
TGs?
The ones we've been running from.
Oh.
Did you
My
forget about the
bloody
thing that
hell.
were trying to kill us?
I'm having a very hard time processing all of this. I hope you can understand.
We'll need to secure the Doctor's TARDIS. Which one of you is the Doctor? Well, you see the clone.
Me.
The clone just says, I guess that's me. But I didn't come here in this. And then Mickey looks a little confused. Everyone, there seems to be a general air of, like, we need to get this sorted before we move.
Are
Where's
you all
the
friends
Doctor?
of the Doctor?
What was that?
Are you all friends of the Doctor then?
We were, yes.
Mickey, long time.
What? What? You hear, like, everyone's like, you can't be serious.
New face. Same deal. Not your first time at this, then?
You see the 10 clone go, oh, this is brilliant. And Rose is just stuck, like has no idea. It looks like she's trying to process. Mickey says, that can't be. You're dead.
It's a long story.
If you're the Doctor, then you'll have access to the TARDIS. And you see him slide the rifle back into his arm, like he's going to brace it, and he says, show me. Everyone sort of parts ways.
If you are Mickey, then you'll recognize a bit of this.
All right, so what do you...
We're just hoping this isn't some evil clone of Mickey in the We Can Trust unit.
Gamble.
So how do we go about proving to you people that we are who we say we are?
Yeah, Mickey's waiting for the Doctor to open the TARDIS to see if it's really the Doctor. Because only the Doctor is going to have access to the TARDIS, unless the Doctor's given access to somebody, else. But
Right.
You are who you say you are. Open the TARDIS.
Is there a way to open the TARDIS that prevents other people from going in, or is it just unlocked?
Don't
once
worry,
it's
I'm in
unlocked?
front of the door.
Well, so the
That's
TARDIS
the
is the TARDIS.
They asked you to put your arms up.
Yeah,
Step number one.
all I have to do is limbo them as they go under.
Yeah. On many occasions, the TARDIS will respond to the Doctor.
Yeah.
So it's entirely conceivable. Remember, and you have story points.
Yeah.
So it's. Anybody else hearing that?
Yep.
Yeah.
What am I hearing?
Are we about to start meditating?
When all of a sudden this became like a
TARDIS,
sexy
you're
commercial.
speaking up in a weird way.
You open the TARDIS,
so-
a weird voice comes from inside.
Basically, what you could do is you could just get those doors to open,
Yeah.
and if somebody tries to enter and you don't,
Yeah.
get those doors to close, kind of thing.
That's the plan.
But this is one of those things where you can say, "I'm going to burn a story point." No, they can't go in without me. You know what I mean?
I'm going to burn a story point to say that I have a way of opening it that I've set up that sort of, like, close on command.
Would that be 1 or 2? Yeah, okay. I'll give you, yeah, for 1 story point, I'll give that. Okay, so Mickey waits. Everyone's waiting with a bated breath. Rose is staring at you.
I'm going to point behind me, but stare at Rose.
What's that? Okay, you just point behind and you stare at Rose. She, when the doors of that TARDIS swing open and everyone looks, she doesn't. She just keeps staring at you.
It's good to see you, Rose.
She's her mouth is kind of just hanging open, like.
Hello, Rose Tyler.
And then you hear the baby start making a little bit noise, and she starts kind of like cradling him a little bit.
Who is this?
The sapling's making noise!
She says, David. This is David.
It's a good name.
And you see the tin clone go, yeah, I thought so.
I'll shake his hand.
John Smith. He shakes your hand. Had to pick a name and all.
What?
I had to pick a name, John Smith. He shakes your hand. Couldn't just be the doctor here on Earth, you know?
It's a good one.
Now, I was wondering when this was going to happen. Where are you from exactly? Because Mickey's right. The doctor in this universe is dead.
I'm from where you're from, actually. It's a bit of a long story.
Wait, so you're the one who dropped us off here?
It has been a while, but yes.
Rose is completely, she's completely silent, just watching all of this. Mickey steps forward and says, well, we can transport the TARDIS by the helicopter, but I know you don't like that, Doctor, so if you would like to step in, and I can show you where the unit's headquarters are. I think there's a few people that would like to meet you.
Sounds fantastic. There's definitely not any Californian temporal guards where I'm from. I hope you'll be able to explain a bit of that.
We don't have an official name for them yet, but they have been making their rounds here on Earth. We've been following them.
Call them TGs. They don't seem to like it.
Right.
Mickey, this is Finn, and this is Rocococo.
You tip your hat. Yeah, this metal arm.
I just 2 metal fingers.
Well, I should get you back to unit headquarters then. Men, they all stand at attention, and then you see them immediately start filing down to the end of the alley where there's that van waiting, a car that's just pulled up. We'll say it's an SUV, has pulled up, so it's really spooky. But they all start filing out, and Mickey says, after you.
Can we bring the sapling? It's so cute.
We can't leave them here.
Are you all right? To Rose and John.
Rose goes, yeah, that's one word for it. And Ten goes, John Smith, John just says, it's been a while. It's nice to feel like this again. And you see he immediately gets this like critical look from Rose. And he goes, not that I would do it again, I'm just saying. It's nice to see the old girl. And he pats the TARDIS. Mickey says, right, well, we can't linger here. We have to move out.
Come on, Mickey.
Yeah, you would say that, Mickey.
I have a lot of questions about this, by the way.
He gives you this kind of like, this look, like clearly he has an idea of what you're referencing, and he says, yeah, we'll talk. And let's go. And as he steps in, he says, let's go. John just goes, look at you, sounding all authoritative, and pats him on the back. He says, I don't know you, get off me. And then everyone starts to file into the TARDIS. The doors close behind everybody as y'all approach the control panel. And as y'all approach, y'all stop for a second, and Mickey turns and says, sorry, did you say Roco was your name?
Rocococo. Nice to meet you. Please don't point a gun at me again.
No, I don't think I should.
Rather agree.
Much obliged.
And you see both John Smith, I should just start referring to him as John. John and the Doctor are both kind of, it's sort of instinctual, Doctor, as y'all approach the control panels, and Mickey approaches the control panel as well to sort of give you the idea of where the unit base. But there's this instinctive, like, disapproving glare at the assault rifle in his hand. Mickey says, here are the coordinates, and he just immediately punches them in on the data pad on the TARDIS control panel, and then looks at, says, what? Oh. And he points it down and clicks the safety on.
Thank you.
Slings it over his back. And the TARDIS is ready to go. You just hear the come up on the screen. You see the headquarters, Tower of London.
Tower of London.
Which Mickey is this? Okay.
Question of the day.
It's just occurred to me. I recognize him, but
if you want to make a knowledge ingenuity check.
Yes.
Real quick, go ahead and we can see what the doctor's doing, putting all the pieces together of what's going on.
Yeah. 15 plus 8, 23.
So this is definitely that alternate reality that you parted with them in Bad Wolf Bay.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of things that aren't adding up. There's a lot of continuity errors that seem to be taking place in this reality. And it doesn't look like, there's a lot of things that are basically not, you're hearing echoes of your 12th regeneration from the Prime universe. Something about that splash effect, you're wondering if all of the realities have been affected, but something about the time-space continuum has made it, there's a lot of things that aren't adding up here.
Yeah, it all plays out differently.
It's almost like it's responding to a complete, I can already hear the audience going, yeah, way to get out of this, Eric. But the truth of the matter is this reality is responding to a completely different style of narrative, basically. There's just a lot of things that you've encountered so far that are leaving a lot of open questions about how this happened.
All right.
And how the other doctor is dead, and exactly why the other doctor didn't, and how long it's happened. Because the other doctor was never even, that was something that's never come up. And even if this clone has acknowledged, John Smith has acknowledged that the doctor in this reality is dead, how does he know that? Lots of open-ended questions here.
Yep, okay.
So you're not, to answer the big question that you were asking about Mickey, your instinct tells you that he's on the level. But it's that typical unit, yeah, I know you guys are trying to do good, but kind of unit thing.
Yeah.
That you applaud the effort, but for God's sake, could you stop being so damn human about everything? Mm-hmm. As the whirring machine of the TARDIS goes, you're kind of scrutinizing him. Rose hasn't said a word, but what you do notice is the baby who's getting upset the moment that whirring noise of the TARDIS starts up, little David gets quiet.
Woo! It's a happy sapling. I know there's a happy
and
noise.
The grinding noise, and you see John just look up and says, I really like what you've done with the place.
Thank you.
We always did have good taste, though.
A bit,
I thought. Have you noticed that we never get enough round things, though? Have you noticed that?
Oh,
Seems like every single time we create a new one, we never get enough round things in here.
Could use
Sure, you'll
more.
get around to it. Yes, that's a human joke. I learned that from Finn.
I'm funny.
You hear the as the TARDIS stops. And Mickey goes, all right, we've arrived.
Where are we then?
Unit headquarters, though I should tell you the coordinates took us outside since we can actually prevent the TARDIS from appearing inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Asshole unit. He walks over to the doors and opens them up as you all kind of I'm guessing y'all are following soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of lines up and starts following. As he opens those doors, you guys see you are in it looks like an antechamber sort of hallway, maybe underground. It's an entrance point that they built for things to materialize in, so to speak, that's just outside of the purview of this blockage that the TARDIS can't get through. And you see a bunch of scientists and doctors and whatnot in this room with a lot of research material, but it all looks very like equipment that's been moved off to the side. It's almost like a miniature aircraft hangar. You could probably store a plane or two in here. You're guessing you're underground, there's no windows, but you do see a lot of people lining up as the TARDIS has appeared here. And Mickey steps out, and you see a bunch of people salute him. Actually, it's English, so would it be like this? Sort of like the straightforward salute? I'm just, my father in real life is Air Force, so I'm used to like,
Can I see if I recognize any of the equipment
Yeah.
Or sciencey?
Absolutely. Go ahead and make
Yes.
an ingenuity and awareness check. Or no, this would be knowledge. I'm sorry. Ingenuity and knowledge.
Would this be like a knowledge alien cultures because it's like an alien artifact?
I'll give you the
or
bonus.
something?
Yeah. Because you're, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 10
I
plus
like that
6
smile.
plus 5, 21. Yay!
Bloody hell.
So there's nothing overtly alien about this technology. It looks like this is probably where, in fact, all of it looks surprisingly mundane for Unit. You don't really notice anything particularly. Actually, wait a minute.
I've never been on Earth.
As you're looking at it a little closer, some of this technology actually looks a little outdated for Unit. Like it doesn't. Like you're not even sure some of this tech does anything. As you're staring at it, you're like, pretty sure that's a broken CAT scan, like what are they called? The devices for a CAT scan, the MRI machines and stuff like that. Basically, you see, it looks like old medical tech that probably isn't in use anymore, but it's labeled with with the levels of importance, and you see people milling about it.
This
What's
tech
that
doesn't
then?
like anything
Like
like my
torture
notes.
It's a bit under the normal unit standard. We should probably pretend that I answered your question and briefed you on what unit is on the way.
Yeah.
They're a bit of an Earth
let's do
Defense
that.
Force. They get a bit happy about their guns, but
Have you
I
ever
don't
watched
know
Agents of
this
S.H.I.E.L.D.? It's
version.
kind of like that.
Your character's a bit of a
Men in
nerd. You
Black.
might have watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I might have played Earth Defense Force.
But which
Yeah.
unit are they? Are they like a light year? Are they a
don't
pound? Which I heard about
Are they a
Mickey's.
kilometer? Like, I don't. Yeah. Yeah, you get a lot of snaps to salutes. You see an elevator door open and a lot of people spilling out into it. One person steps forward and says, "Sir," it's a man dressed in a suit, approaches Mickey and salutes him and says, "We need to see the director immediately." And the man salutes back and looks over at the TARDIS and is just in awe and says, "Sir, is that... Is that..." And Mickey just says, "Yes." "Is the doctor
I
here?"
lock it over my shoulder. Not that it's not always locked, but for dramatic effect, I lock it over
as
my
it closes, the man says, "My God, Doctor," and he approaches John, and John goes, "Nope, sorry, not this time. I'm just a bystander." Smiles. And then you hear murmurs coming out of the baby again, and he immediately drops that sort of whimsical attitude and goes, "Oh," and he goes over to Rose, and Rose is just watching all of this, and the three of them sort of like huddle around the baby for a moment. And the man says, "I'm sorry, I don't understand." And Mickey says, "Take us to the director." He says, yes, sir. And it starts leading you guys up. You step into the elevator. Everyone files in. The elevator starts going, you assume, up. When it comes to a stop, after a few moments, the door opens, and you see Units HQ. The tech here, immediately, Rocco, I'll tell you, the tech here is definitely advanced. This is beyond human technological, this is way beyond the human technological grade. You definitely spot some alien tech in here. Some of it looks like it's dangerous. Doctor, you've seen this kind of tech before. You know that Unit has, on occasion, tried to absorb alien technologies from races that are vastly outside the purview of human understanding and therefore risk their own lives. But to their credit, Unit has minimized the risk factor in using some of these alien tech. But you can tell from just looking at John, like there's a distinct disapproval. Again, every time you enter this place, you do, however, see on the wall an image of a very prestigious-looking man with the plaque underneath it that reads Brigadier Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart. And you see that old familiar face. That man who helped you. You two were thick as thieves for a long time. All the adventures, all the memories come flooding back as you look at that stern but sort of whimsical man on the wall. Mickey says, "This way, the director's going to want to see you as quickly as possible."
Nod to the portrait.
Y'all file in through. You come to what looks like a platform area where there's like stairs going up, and you see what looks like a CIC, a command table with readouts and stuff like that. And as you're approaching, you hear the unmistakable voice of Master. And everyone kind of turns and looks as you see a robotic dog about this tall as it starts wheeling towards you, guy. It's the master. And you hear him coming, hello, master, as K9 wheels right up to you. And you see John go, K9! And without even thinking, Doctor, it comes out of your mouth at the exact same moment.
Yeah.
And you see K9 go, hello again, master. It's good to see you.
Is K9 talking to me or to John?
You're not really I mean, it's kind of like, kind of John-ish, but you see K9 kind of wheeling back and forth, doing the excitement that K9 is capable of doing, where he's kind of like,
yeah, I'm not even thinking. I'm just done. Hello!
hello. And who are you? Please identify.
K9.
Hello, master. It is good to see you, master.
So good to see you.
You see reactions of everybody as K9 identifies you. And you see John laugh and goes, here. Oh, K9, always knew, always knew. But then when you see John say, well, but wait a minute, if you're here, and then you hear a woman's voice say, hello again. And Mickey, everyone turns around and says, may I present to you the director of unit? And you see Sarah Jane standing on top of the platform.
All right, I guess everyone just knows everyone.
Yeah. And you see Rose go, oh, no way. This is getting to be a bit much. And John kind of gives her a look and goes, you've been the director of unit the whole time and you've never reached out to me, not even for tea. And Sarah Jane says, we've had our hands a bit busy, Doctor. Or should I say, and she looks at you, Doctor.
A pleasure to see you again.
You see that smile that you are so familiar with as she approaches you and she looks at you, she looks at the hand, and then she looks at you again, and then she wraps her arms around you. And the two of you embrace.
Director of unit.
I mean, that's good. That's good.
And she steps back and she goes, I love your hair.
Well, thank you.
It's quite nice.
Oh my gosh, they're just gonna gab the whole
Yeah.
episode. I love this.
Goodness.
What's she wearing? Is it like?
She is in.
I want to compliment it.
She's in a black suit. She's in like the power suit. Sort of. She almost is dressed.
Yeah.
She's totally. Yeah. She's united up. And you see her. She is in full regalia.
Yeah.
And K9, of course, is going back and forth. You see. To her credit, she is actually keeping her composure, but you see tears are welling up in her eyes as she spots both you and John Smith. It's kind of like reunion overload here. She's, of which she addresses, she says, my, what an unusual day this has been. I have so many questions. We have all so many questions. Even know where to begin. Where are you from? The doctor of this universe is dead.
And yes, we're a bit curious about that, actually. What happened?
Well, I'll need to brief all of you. But first, I'll need to know who your friends are. Your new companions.
A few new friends, yes?
Well,
Director Sarah
you might
Jane.
be interested. Oh. Silly and Rail, nice to meet you. You might be interested to know that your man Mickey back there, he's my cousin.
Really? That's fantastic.
And I think I've finally figured out how the hell I ended up mixed up in all of this. I think it's his fault.
Oh, Mickey.
Can do that.
Yeah.
Forgive me
Family
for being,
first,
Yeah.
right?
Forgive me for
Mickey.
being rude, but you're not registering as human.
Oh, hello. I'm Roku Coco. This is the part where you shake, right? I think
Correct.
Yes. Well done, well done.
She shakes her hand and says, hello. It's a pleasure to meet you. Are we familiar with your species? What, if you don't mind my asking?
I shouldn't imagine so. I'm an ovo collie. Is it okay? Alien, we're welcome here. It's getting a bit pinchy around the flesh bits.
If you're with the doctor, then you're a friend.
Okay, that's good. And I want to shapeshift. Yeah.
You just see the shape-shifting right in front of you as Roko just goes right back into their original form.
I just shake like a dog.
Yeah, just kind of shake it off. I picture that Fifth Element scene where he just shakes off the shapeshift, basically. Yeah.
Well,
you see,
2 days ago, that would have probably terrified me, but that was really cool. Yes, that was really cool.
Yes, I read this in my research. They're all stigmas against gingers. I understand that would be terrifying. I intended for an intimidating visage. Did I do it?
You did great.
I think you did quite well.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Lovely job, Rococo.
You see Smith says, I'm sorry, Sarah. Sarah Jane, where is Kate Stewart? I thought she was head of unit. And Sarah says, we believe she's dead. Curiously enough, we don't know how.
What does that mean?
That's a theme.
It means whatever happened to the former director of unit is likely the same thing that happened to the doctor that we know.
It is a theme.
Which character did you say this was? I'm sorry.
This is Sarah Jane. Oh, who am I talking about?
Yeah.
Kate Smith.
Kate Smith.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Kate.
I missed it.
Stuart?
Yeah. Where's this from? From outside. We have sandwiches. We have sandwiches.
What?
Sandwich.
From where?
Oh my
Who gave us sandwiches?
Did you just say
Mendocino Farms. Oh, because it's our first Friday. Let's take these over. I'm just going to steal one of these sandwiches. I apologize. I'm going to be eating. I'm going to be eating into the mic, and I apologize in advance. This one's good. It's got bacon on it, I think. There's no nuts in this, are there? Yes. I'm gonna die.
Are you? Please don't.
Yeah.
One of them
Don't
doesn't have nuts. This one doesn't, but it doesn't have bacon.
Oh, it's fine. It'll be all right. I'll just here. I'll donate this one to one of you guys. By the way, thank you very much. I know, sort of a break in the stream here as we're trying to get. This is nice because in the past, so a lot of you guys don't know, but we on the first Friday of every month we get fed here for free, which is always nice. But every single time it's happened, yes, but every single time it's happened, we've been playing Doctor Who. So every time the game ends, we go outside to find the bones of like the carnivores have ingested. Like, so we always miss lunch here because the show's from 12 to 3. Thank you. Yes, we are fed. This is going to be quite well. So I'm just going to drop as much like vital character information as I can while they're not listening. Just to create chaos.
Give us that sweet, sweet exposition dump.
I don't know who wants what.
So anyway, and that's what happens, Finn.
Huh?
See, it worked. Did you see that?
Dang it!
All right.
Did you pick one?
I'm not sure what they are
So-
exactly.
You pick first.
Yeah, just pick which one.
This looks good.
So
Yeah?
Mickey,
Okay.
Should I introduce myself then?
Sarah says, actually, we've been watching since Mickey encountered all of you.
I'm just gonna put
He is. Mickey just kind of taps at a camera on his armor.
someone taps it.
Says,
They
"You're
really
next."
do like to watch, don't they?
I do wonder a bit. Where were you when Rose and John were nearly killed by the temporal guards?
That's actually how we showed up so quickly onto the scene. We've been observing and watching you. And Rose says, excuse me, you've been watching us? How much have you been watching us? It was a request, is what Sarah Jane says.
That's
request
not
by
an
whom?
answer to the question, though. How? Like.
Sarah Jane says, you asked us to watch over and protect Rose and Mr. Smith. She smiles.
I should hope I did, but
Before you disappeared and presumably died.
right.
It was paramount that this family remain under the protection of UNIT.
You're quite right too.
I should tell you now that we have no current strategy against the temporal god. And so it has been a constant intelligence gathering.
You just shoot
Ordeal.
them. It seems to go quite well for us.
Perhaps it
I
goes
like
well
your
for you who
style,
can run
Finn.
around the galaxy, but for us, we're here to protect Earth, and if we rise the ire of Gallifrey, there would be little that we could do to defend ourselves.
Hang on. How often are the TG down here?
We've detected their incursions 4 times on 4 separate occasions.
4 times. Do you
Presumably,
know why they were down here?
No.
Since when?
What were they doing?
She holds up her hands. She says, I will brief all of you as necessary, but first, let's all settle in. I have my questions as well. Please. And she offers the table.
Are there sandwiches on the
Yeah.
table?
Yes.
There are sandwiches.
Let's put that in character. There are sandwiches on the table, everyone. Haha, no complaints now.
Lovely sandwiches.
I'm probably just
I
going to
haven't
have my
eaten in
branches
days.
in a glass of water. Like you do.
Right. Welcome to Sandwich Who. Everyone sits
The
down
last
around
thing
the
you ate
table.
was terrible pirate food.
As she's having tea brought, the elevator door opens, and charging into the room with this like look on her face, like looking around, you see Martha. Dr. Martha Jones comes running into the room and says, "Where is he? Is he here?" And she runs up to Mickey and says, "Where?" And spots the clone and goes, "Oh, I thought someone said the TARDIS had arrived." And Mickey goes, "Yes, dear, actually," and points to you.
Oh, well, hello, Martha.
Martha stares at you and says, "Hello?" Shakes your hand. "I'm sorry, I don't understand." And she looks
New
around.
face, you're a sharp one, you've got it.
"No!" "I didn't know you could do that."
I didn't either, but apparently I can.
It's going to happen a lot today, I bet.
"Well,
You look well.
oh, thank you. I'm the Chief Medical Officer of UNIT."
Fantastic. Always a bit much with the guns around here, but otherwise it's delightful to see so many of you.
Sarah Jane says, "I'm sorry, I know this is very exciting for all of us, and I don't mean to be rude, but there's a lot to cover." She activates the screen console, and she activates the screen using a console.
Yeah.
And as you see these images start popping up, you see the world as it is today. When she says, "These are the images of where we've been tracking the temporal guard as they've appeared on Earth," and you see the Taj Mahal, you see various like capitals around the world. "We think they have been searching for John here," and she nods, thinking that John was perhaps you. "We've managed to throw them off using what technologies we have."
We know they can locate us. We haven't been able to prevent it yet.
It has become tricky, but we are devising a plan to obscure Time Lord DNA so that the family can be protected. But it is serendipitous that you've arrived from another universe, apparently. We've been tracking your movement since you arrived on Earth. As you know, we have ways of detecting when the TARDIS has landed. We feared that the temporal guard would be able to find out how to get a hold of these technologies, but as it turns out, they didn't need them since they discovered you. However, we have noticed that we've been having difficulty using our technologies against temporal incursions to detect them. This is due largely to fees. And she activates the screen again, and you see those very familiar looking temporal rips in time that you've been encountering. She says, "We've tracked 13 temporal rips in space-time in just the past 2 weeks. But that's not what's most fascinating." She clicks it again, and you see old black and white photographs popping up, taken from various time periods when photography was available, and you see evidence, or at least suspicions, like circles of what could be temporal rips just appearing. And some of these are just like stock photos from God knows when. Like, we're looking at like someone shaking hands in front of the Golden Gate Bridge as it was being built. You just see little specks where suspected temporal rips are in the background. And she says, "What we believe is that these rips have splashed across time. We're not quite sure what they are, how they got here, or how to close them. But whatever they are, they've managed to disrupt the time distortion detecting technologies that both the temporal guard have and us as well."
I'm afraid I may have brought them with me a bit, but we're still looking into what they are.
Yes, we detected from the moment you arrived that your vibrations are different from those vibrations that exist in our own reality. Amy, go ahead and make the doctor needs to make an ingenuity plus technology check.
Okay. Base 13. 13 and 9, 22.
22, okay. There's nothing about Sarah Jane that's insincere. And you're not detecting anything necessarily suspicious about her. This wasn't for that kind of role, but what you are starting to catch onto in her language is a few times she's made references to technologies and events that you're not sure how it's possible she knows about them. She seemed to be aware that you were from another reality, first of all, and she seems to be aware that she just basically let slip that they have technologies to detect your vibration from one reality to the next. That technically should be beyond the purview of UNIT. That's a technology level that's much higher than human standard. And she just continues talking. As you just kind of catch that. It's kind of, and from the looks of it, John, he seems to catch it too, but he doesn't say anything either. But you guys both kind of glance at each other to see if you're thinking the same thing. And you see that sort of, that classic David Tennant expression where he just side glances at you for a moment to see. And when you do the eyebrow raise, he says, and looks back a bit. And Sarah just keeps talking. She says, right now, our principal goal is to discover the nature of these temporal rips, but also discover anything we can about the temporal god. And we do have a lead. We've discovered that the temporal god has a small watchtower, so to speak, a base of operations here in London.
All right.
We could do something with that.
These two have been fighting them for quite a long time. You would do well to listen to whatever they've got to contribute.
Of course, anything that you can contribute, any information you have about your encounters with them. The only thing we know is that their vortex manipulators allow them to warp space-time around themselves so that they can literally step through time.
Right.
Quite so, they're very handy.
Oh my goodness, yes. She points. You see her eyes light up. It says, yes, they've fine-tuned these vortex manipulators so that they can actually warp space-time around their immediate vicinity, which is from what we've seen, is very dangerous, but they managed to do it.
It does get a little itchy, though.
Forgive me.
You get used to
I would be failing in my duty if I didn't ask. May we please look at one of those?
Oh, absolutely, under no circumstances.
You also see, as you sort of react to Doctor, you see John Smith stiffen a little bit. And then Rose suddenly cuts in and says, "Excuse me." And everyone turns and looks. She's like, "I understand that there have been a lot of words coming out of everyone's mouth, but no one has precisely told me what in the hell is going on."
Yeah, what she said. I don't understand. I don't understand any of this.
Sarah Jane says, "I'm sorry the two of you have been wrapped up into this. If it was our intention to make sure that you had no contact with this kind of life ever again." And Rose says, "Don't get me wrong, it was fun back in the day, but I've got a few other things to worry about now." And her eyes again fall upon you, and she seems like, it doesn't look like she knows what to say to you. Like she has no idea what to say to you. And at that point, John says, "I don't know if Rose and I can be any help here. What would you need us for?" And Rose says, "You're going to need us for nothing. We're not stepping into this. We have a family now. We can't do this anymore, John." And you see John kind of, it looks like he relents a little bit and kind of nods to her and says, "I'm not the doctor. That was another life. It didn't belong to me. In fact, if you want to get technical, I was a mistake." I mean, I did help save the universe, I will say that. But, you know, I've got another universe to save now. And he nods over to David and Rose. So, I don't know how much help we can be. And Sarah says, "No, I understand. In truth, it perhaps would be best to at least keep you out of harm's way. would you at least consent to protection from UNIT? Or perhaps a relocation? Rose says, absolutely not. We've started a life. I'm not going to uproot that because of whatever this is. And she kind of waves her hands at the table where the images are all up on the screen. And there's a silence that kind of falls at the table. If you are who you say you are, then tell them. Tell them to leave us alone. And she gives you that look that you've seen her give so many times. You've seen her beg you to saving people's lives. You've seen that look in her eyes so many times where she's looking to you for the answer. And what do you say to her? She just puts you right there on the spot.
You've always gone your own way. There's no reason to stop now. But let them protect you, for Pete's sake.
You see that, again, that familiar stubbornness, that hot-headedness that Rose has. And she doesn't argue with you, though. You see she just kind of, all right, fine, but I don't want to see you, any of you. And she kind of motions to UNIT. She says, we're going to have a normal life.
You could never be normal if you tried.
John says, he's got a point. And you see Rose just... And Sarah Jane says, we can... It's possible that we can outfit you with, or at least create some sort of emitter that would jam any detection of Time Lord DNA.
Have you been doing it before?
I'm sorry, I'm really not at liberty to say.
I think you'd better start.
Sarah Jane says, it pains me to say this, Doctor, but I really can't tell you.
Are you the director or aren't you?
Which is precisely why I can't tell you. And you see John goes, hold up. You're not going to tell us. Sarah Jane just says, I'm very sorry, Doctor. Please don't ask further.
Do you want our help or not?
Please, we need it.
Sarah Jane Smith, what aren't you telling us?
And you, you can see she gives that, she kind of looks at John, and it's almost like she's, from Sarah Jane's perspective, it's almost like two number 4s are looking at her with those eyes, kind of like, Sarah Jane, kind of giving her that look. She says, please don't judge me. I'm doing it for the good of UNIT and planet Earth. There are certain things that UNIT does that you would not approve of, Doctor, but it has helped us survive.
All right, well, I'm not the doctor, and I don't know ya. So, if you wanted my help, I would have helped you. Now, I'm not so sure that I like you right now.
If you want this planet to have a future, you will help us. This has nothing to do with me.
Right, this is about helping John Smith and that little baby and that woman. That's your mission, right? And yet you're hindering it right now.
Mickey steps forward and says, look, all we're saying is we can't, it's not, there are just certain things that UNIT must keep secret that we do in order to help this place.
Well, I come from,
the sound of that.
You tell the truth and you share information so that you can help each other.
We're sharing what's necessary.
By keeping secrets, people get killed.
Well, Mickey's
I'm
always
invoking
been...
my hot-headedness.
Yeah,
I'm getting real mad
okay,
right now.
Okay, you're getting...
Mickey's always been one for secrets, haven't you, Mick?
He looks at you and says, you and I need to sit down and chat.
Yeah, we do.
I'm just looking back and forth between the two. I'm like, I can't believe it.
Without your bloody guns and all of these soldiers around you.
You're in a grave. I buried you myself.
What are you talking about?
Sarah Jane.
How?
Sarah Jane says, wait. We're getting, if we're going to discuss this, let's at least make it orderly.
Well, I want some answers too. I want to know how I ended up here. And if we're fighting for you and this planet, which isn't really ours anyway, because this ain't what I left 2 days ago, or however the hell long this has been.
It does get confusing, I'm sorry.
I need to know something about you people.
You see, I'm not even gonna require a roll. Sarah Jane looks really. She looks really uncomfortable. Doctor, you've seen this expression, like I've said many times before. You're detecting a hint of like. She looks like she might be disappointed with herself, but she also looks resolute. And she says, perhaps now is a good time for a break. We can answer questions in private for questions that need to be answered in private. And she nods to Mickey, who says, yeah, a lot of catching up to do, I think. And then Rose stands and says, what about us? And Sarah Jane looks at her and says, I'm sorry, Rose. I need you to give us just a little bit of time so that we can protect you, and then we will stay out of your way. And Rose just says, fine. And she steps down off the platform. And John stands up and says, excuse me for a moment, and follows her. And then you just see Sarah just detecting awkwardness, master. You hear K9 pipe in.
Good, it wasn't just me. I thought so.
Sarah just kind of smiles and says,
Oh, it's such a...
K9's personality has evolved a bit since you last saw him, I'm suspecting. He's become a bit sarcastic, even more than usual.
Well done.
I want to give you as many answers as I possibly can, but my hands are tied in certain aspects.
By whom?
Let me guess,
You're
you
not-
can't say.
No, I can say you're just really not going to like the answer. Policy.
Policy.
The doctor look. Yeah. She just kind of says, I know. There are reasons behind it. Please. You have to understand there are many things that are taking place here that you have not been privy to, and the two of you aren't even from this time period. You don't know what we have been having to go up against to protect Earth.
All I know is that if you're ashamed to tell the doctor what you've been doing, it's probably the wrong choice.
That seems to put her at a complete lack of response. Whatever argument you could probably level against Sarah Jane, that one leaves her speechless. As though she completely... And you see her, she kind of blinks for a second, looks down, and she stands up and says, I'm sorry. I truly am.
But I really want to know, though.
I can tell you anything that is relevant to mission success. But for now, it's important that we just move forward.
Okay.
We can detect temporal incursions on occasion. They are difficult to track because of the rips in space-time, but we have been able to discover that their base of operations are here. And she clicks. And you see a very nondescript-looking building somewhere in London. It looks like maybe a place, probably like an outsourcing center, maybe where cargo or whatever from overseas arrives, waits, and then gets shipped out. But it's deep. It's not in the docks area, but it looks like a what do they call it? A house.
Warehouse?
It's like a warehouse, but it's basically like their outsourcing center where like things arrive here, they get packaged and then shipped out.
Fulfillment center.
Fulfillment center, yes. So it kind of looks like, and you guys do see like trucks arriving. It looks completely normal. And she says, we know that at least 2 temporal guards have used this place as as a base of operations to keep tabs on the happenings of Earth. We don't know what their objective is, but we know that if we can get inside this building, we might be able to uncover the vital intelligence that we need to protect them. Then she points over at Rose and John and us.
You think you can increase our ability to cloak their signals with something we find in there?
Well, the temporal guard, think of it this way. Have they appeared on your trackers for Time Lord DNA?
Yes.
Yeah.
They have?
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We found 4 when we last checked on ours. See? We have them too. They're ever so fancy.
What are you using to track them?
You're able to track them?
Yeah, that's kind of the point of these things, actually.
Please let us study one. Just one.
Oh, so now you want our tech and you won't give us yours. I see how it is.
Yes.
And why should I?
We've got the upper hand here.
I'm sure she just really does want to tell us though, and yeah, I have to know. I really, really have to know. I'm gonna read her mind. I have insatiable curiosity. I have to know.
You have telepathy?
It's in order to take precog, you have to take psychic. I don't
No
have
shit.
telepathy like sending messages back and forth, but it's reading mind. It's
You're gonna go full on Professor X on her.
I
Nice.
can't. I can't make
Yes.
people do anything. It's contested. I
get
roll
this now?
awareness plus resolve plus 4, and you roll resolve plus ingenuity.
Okay, 1 second. Ooh.
I have to know. I can't not know. I need to know.
I secretly approve of this.
I tried to like sort of catch eyes. Like, can I get the go ahead?
Oh yeah.
I need to know. I need to know.
I
So
just
real
wait.
quick,
I
I'm
know
gonna come
you're
over there for a
excited,
second
and
because I need to check this book.
Yeah,
cool, I don't
get
know
the
anything
stats.
about
Oh, you my mummy. Yeah.
I need to know.
Terrifying thing.
I know it's not the best idea. I know
It's
that
a
this should
great
probably be
idea.
accomplished
I'm so
politically.
Yeah.
proud
I
of
just,
you,
I have to know.
Roko.
Roko. I'm, yeah. Let's see.
I've been seeing all of
Finn
it.
just looks at you,
might
sees
use
that
the
smile,
next
knows
week.
exactly what you're gonna do.
Sarah
and wait.
Jane! Okay, so I'm sorry, what is it? It's
I've
contested
got-
what?
Yeah.
Resolve plus
Believe it or not.
ingenuity.
Resolve plus
5.
ingenuity.
Yes.
Okay, make your roll.
And I roll awareness plus resolve plus 4. Oh, that almost went off the map there. Okay, so that is 21.
Cool.
No, it's just costume stuff. Nothing as interesting as I'm making it out to be.
I quite enjoyed my lunch just now.
Oh yeah, that was
Oh,
really,
yeah.
that was really great. Really great.
I'm still eating the crumbs because I want to.
21.
You have to beat it.
Is there a character sheet for Sarah Jane in there?
There is.
Oh man.
That's amazing.
Nice.
She resists you.
Does she know?
Dang it.
You see Sarah go, and then she looks at you, and she says, "Arrest her."
Oh, sorry.
I don't
Excuse
think
me.
so. Throw myself in front of her.
You throw yourself.
Is there a... That's a girl word. What's...
Without missing a beat. So this is all what happens. It all happens all at once. It's pure chaos. You see Sarah, she kind of, and then you see this look in Sarah's eyes that you've only seen a few times. And she points at Roko and shouts, "Arrest her." And you immediately react by throwing yourself in front. I'll give you that.
No one touches them. No one touches them.
So when you scream, "No one touches them," you guys find yourself surrounded by unit. Nobody has their guns drawn. But everyone immediately follows, and you see, like, you basically see these cuffs and a couple of hands as everyone shows up.
I had to know. I had to know.
Yeah, Roko's, I had to know.
What's happening?
Your friend here just attempted to read my mind
'Cause you
without
weren't
my
being-
permission.
You weren't being honest with us.
And that gives you a right to break into my mind.
Well, it's how we do things. I had to know. I'm sorry.
What gives you the right to invade into people's lives like you do? Mickey, tell him to leave them alone. Tell him to leave them alone. She didn't do anything wrong. We just want some bloody answers. Is this something I would have to roll for to try and
If you want
get
to try to
him
convince him.
him?
Yeah, go ahead and make a roll. It's going to be...
Can I have a +1 presence?
Allies.
Because I have
Allies
this
getting angry at
charming
each other.
thing that I've never used.
Oh yeah, this is perfect for Charmed.
Charming?
Yeah, I do. I've never used it.
Yeah, this is great for Charmed.
Well, I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
I
Okay,
don't
so
like
go
to
ahead and make the
misuse
roll.
my
I'm gonna resist
powers,
it.
Yeah.
What?
No, I
Break
just
it
forgot
out.
about
Oh,
it.
I think I probably one of my other traits probably might have given me a plus 2, but
No!
What's that?
I'm not sure. I will know for future.
You had a +2. I'll tell you.
I might have had an additional 2. Yeah.
I'll tell you now. Just
Yeah.
to steal any regret, I spent story points for Sarah Jane,
Ah,
so she was gonna beat you on that roll.
Gotcha.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
I thought
rolled.
about it, but
Okay.
What would I? What traits would I be?
So this is
adding
going to
this?
be a presence plus convince,
and then
So
charm
that's-
is plus 2.
and then you're gonna get a +2 for your charming.
17.
You see him. He kind of. I'm sorry, mate, and he pulls out handcuffs.
Hold on.
I put my hand on my gun.
Okay, when you put your hand on your gun, you see a couple.
I don't
of
take
members,
it out. I just lay
couple
it
of members
there.
of unit do the same, and Sarah goes, "No, no!" At the exact same time, the doctor, everyone's, "No, no, 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 no!" It mustn't come to this.
I rather agree.
Doctor, your friend attempted to read my mind just now.
Didn't know you could do that, but it's generally not considered polite on Earth.
Well, maybe you could tell us then.
You're not used to seeing Sarah quite so authoritative the way she's being, but she is kind of giving you a look of distrust at this point and says, "Doctor, if you will vouch for her, I will rescind my order, but you will be monitored for further psychic activity from this moment on. Any breach in that order, you will be arrested and escorted away from unit."
Doctor.
I won't let them take you, but it might be best to stay out of other minds when we can help it.
Okay.
She nods. You see she's grateful for the agreement. Doctor, if you want to get a read on Sarah Jane, because I've been giving you like breadcrumbs from here now, you can go ahead and make an ingenuity awareness check
Yeah.
to try to get a read on her.
Obviously hiding
Yeah,
something.
I should say.
13 plus 9, 22.
22. She doesn't like any of this. She doesn't like that she's having to put her foot down. She doesn't like that she's ordered the arrest. You can tell that she's very uncomfortable with this whole situation. And you're also getting the feeling she looks, maybe she's fighting a little heartbreak that you might be judging her right now. But there is a iron defiance, like she's not going to budge on her duty, is what you're getting from her. So that's kind of giving you a landscape of who you're dealing with right now with Sarah. It's a little different than the Sarah you remember. It's a little like Kate almost.
Yeah.
Kate kind of has that, I'm on your side, but here's the line, you can't cross it kind of thing, which has always been a pain in the ass. It's kind of like the burdens of duty, basically.
Yeah.
You see it on Sarah Jane's shoulders. But she does raise her hand, and everyone backs away from you guys.
I don't think I like this place.
I'm sorry.
Nobody tells you things and they have guns.
We've got guns too, you know.
I don't like them though. You like them. I don't. I like people to talk to each other.
I know, I'm trying.
Sarah Jane says, "I'm very sorry you don't like it here. But generally, we don't allow people to break into our minds."
You could let me in.
Yes. And she just stares at you and lets that linger. Mickey says, "I'm going to go and check on the other two." And he kind of gives you a look before moving off. It's almost like he's kind of like...
Yeah.
And he...
So I'm going to follow Mickey then?
Okay, you follow off Mickey. And Sarah says, "Martha, would you see to it that these two are taken care of with sincere hospitality?" And Martha says, "Yeah, are you hungry?" could maybe use some food or something. Food here is actually quite good.
Do you have a terrace? I could use some sunlight.
Oh, it is the Tower of London. She shrugs. I'm sure we could find you sunlight.
Good. I'm starving. It's very.
You see this
you don't get a lot of sun in this
Martha
place.
kind of
but
looks
I
at
need
you
a
with this
little.
genuine look of fascination. It's just like, I have so many questions for you. I'm a doctor, you know, and I'm just curious about your species, if that's okay.
Oh, curiosity, lovely.
Let's begin here. And then she walks off with you. Those two, Martha and in Roko, immediately start chattering back and forth. What are you gonna do?
I'll just look at you and just be like, do you need me down here?
No, I think go with him.
Yep. Might as well keep them out of trouble.
I'm not trouble, they're trouble.
Okay. Stepping away, we'll just take this scene by scene. You find yourself alone with K9 and Sarah Jane, standing on the platform.
All right, what's this all about? What policy? What have you had to do?
Doctor, when I took over this role, there were a lot of things that I didn't like about it, but I had to agree to. And there was no one else capable of taking over this role. My time in the TARDIS with you made me the prime candidate to be the leader of UNIT, especially after Kate disappeared. I have no choice.
I believe you've got lots of choices.
No, you don't understand. There are things that UNIT does that I don't approve of, but they have saved us. You have been dead. And Gallifrey has become whispered as a tyrannical regime. It's feared throughout the universe.
Well, they're quite right, too. Roko's species apparently was wiped out.
They're not the only one, Doctor. They're not the only one. It's not just the Daleks that have been completely eliminated from the universe.
Completely eliminated?
There are no more.
Surprise. Yeah.
From what we know, the Time Lords have completely eradicated them just after the Time War, when the Time Lords declared victory.
Oh my god. Things went a bit differently in my world.
How?
We thought... We thought both sides were destroyed in the Time War. In fact, the way I got here is I was trying to fix it. I was trying to save Gallifrey. I was the one who had destroyed them.
You see this look immediately pass over her face of just like confusion. Says,
It's why I know certain choices are never acceptable.
I'm sorry. I find that hard to believe that you would be capable of doing such a thing.
Proud you think so, and I never... But we fixed it. I thought we did. It's already getting fuzzy. But that's how I've ended up here. What happened here?
Well, for a long time, there's so much to say. There was the Doctor, you, whom I don't remember much. He was my friend as much as I imagine I was yours in your reality. And he was hell-bent on protecting us from the tyranny of Gallifrey. But that's just it, Doctor. I don't remember how he died or much of what happened before. No one does. We're only vague recollections that it did happen.
Look, I don't know. how much Roko's able to, but why not let them into your mind?
Because I'm not the only one that suffers from the malady. Computer bases, databases, not computers. Mickey, everyone, no one remembers how it's happened. All we know is for a fact is that the doctor was here and the doctor was killed. But there are gaps in history, like they've been completely muted. They're there but inaccessible. No one knows how it's happened or why. The doctor is the only reason why we know about what's happened on Gallifrey, and that Gallifrey is not to be trusted. The doctor is the only reason that we know about the quarantine on Earth and about the temporal guard. I can't even tell you how long it's been since I've seen the doctor. It may have been yesterday.
Where are you getting the technology you're using? Much of this is quite beyond what I expect from UNIT.
We've had to use certain ingenuity. I don't know how to answer that question, Doctor. It's difficult. It's
Sarah Jane.
She puts her head, she just leans back in her chair and she says, I never thought I would ever have to explain it to you. But I stay awake at nights knowing that you would be disappointed in me, and that breaks my heart.
We've all done things that we are ashamed of. What matters is what we do now.
Give me time. Right now, more than anything, we just need to get the information that is in that building from the temporal guard. And then, after we do that, I will show you.
Is that a promise?
I promise. I absolutely promise.
It's good to see you again.
You see she cracks in a little tear and she says, it's good to see you too. I must say, this is taking some adjusting. Yes, thank you. Yes, I can't find the words, but it's you look lovely. I had often wondered.
I thought it was about time too.
It does sort of give you a wider perspective of the universe. It is odd that a race such as the Time Lords, who can see across time and space, don't try to at least get all of the perspectives of, well, everything.
Oh, gender is a complicated thing.
One of the benefits, I think, perhaps, of being non-binary, she shrugs. Somewhere off in the distance, Roko is like, yep.
Roko's like, you don't even know.
I don't envy you guys of one damn bit. But she smiles and just, it's odd because with you, I see an old friend, and yet you're such a new face from somewhere so far away. I don't know if there's time to catch up, or if we've had the same adventures.
Do you have a son?
There's no need for a roll. When you say that, you see it like a stab to her chest. And she says, Luke. And she looks down and she says, Luke is dead.
I'm so sorry.
And we don't know how. It's the same issue. All that we know is that my son has passed, and there's no record or anything as to when or how it happened.
Let us help you, Sarah Jane.
She nods. Maybe first, though, we should do right by them. And she nods over, and you see off in the corner, you see Rose and John and little David. And Sarah just says, it's odd to say this, But he looks like you. He has your eyes.
I thought so.
Which ones, I don't know. She kind of smiles and says,
Aww.
but perhaps, I wonder if he'll wear the sideburns. Maybe you should talk to them. Or I leave it to you. We have a minute. We're going to assemble a briefing. With you here, these temporal guards are going to be moving very quickly to what agenda we don't know, but if we can get you inside that building as quickly as possible to retrieve any data or information, that would go a long way to making their lives and ours safer.
Absolutely.
And, Doctor, it's not fair for me to ask this, but if you could convince your rather angry Irish friend, if we could look at those vortex manipulators, it's unlike anything that we've come into contact with. If it's helping track Time Lord DNA, it could help us keep tabs on them as much as mute their signal. If I can give you my word that the technology will not be abused.
Can you?
In this instance, yes, we just want the sensor technology. We don't want the vortex manipulation. We can't risk it. If Gallifrey notices us manipulating space-time, they might bring the full might of their armies down upon Earth. And that we would not be able to stop.
I'll have a word with her.
Thank you.
I'll have a word with her.
It's good to see you again, Master.
Yeah, Finn
You
will
hear
have some.
At that point, K9 finally pipes in and says, "It's good to see you again, Master."
Oh, you're a... Does K9 have an equivalent of treats?
I'm certain there's a Whovian watching right now. They would probably say yes immediately.
I'm gonna
Just little
spend a story
scripts.
point to say that I can sonic him some like kind of pleasant treat-like experience.
Okay.
Like a sonic
Like a
pet
little
that we
coding
have.
script.
Aww.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cute. Can I do that?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
I'll let you do it.
So cute.
You hear that like the good old like 70s sound effect of a computer beeping, and then you hear, "Oh, thank you, Master." And Sarah Jane just kind of laughs. She says, "Also, if it's not too much, perhaps you could tell us how to do that as well. I'm sure that would go a long way."
Probably don't have a sonic, but we can come up with a reasonable facsimile.
She smiles and nods. Let's cut to you and Mickey walking over to the corner, and he stops and says, and then he hugs you. He puts his arms around you.
I do not reciprocate.
Okay.
Ice.
He doesn't seem to.
I'm cold.
Yeah, but the way he hugs you, though, it's too much for him. You can hear him getting a little like, and he steps back and he just says, "I was at your funeral.
Well, I wasn't.
No, but that's the problem, is that you were there. You're from somewhere else, but the Cillian that I grew up with, who was like a brother to me. It's strange to see you again. It's great to see you again."
Trust me, Mick. It's me. It's the same me. And I remember all of that. But somewhere along the line, with all this time travel, my path diverged somewhere. I don't know where. I don't understand how this works. But it's still me. But this is... It's like a new reality. I can't explain how that works, but...
Mickey says, honestly, mate, I never understood it myself. I just followed the orders. Tried to defend the Earth, that kind of thing.
Seems like we're in the same boat, mate.
So I'm going to ask you a kind of direct question. Was your Mickey an asshole? Because you seem to think that I'm an asshole.
He wasn't for a long time. But where the hell have you been, man?
What do you mean?
After Madeline left, you know, you were all I had. Because my parents, I mean, who cares about them? You were all I had left, and you disappeared on me when I needed you the most. And now you show up here with these people with guns, and you won't tell me what's going on. What do you expect?
Can I show you something? He goes over to a computer console and he types in a few things. And he looks back at you as he's typing this up. Look. As you move over to look at the screen, you see Mickey with a smile on his face, and he's in fatigues, camo fatigues. It looks like he's at a training facility, and he's got like a paint gun and a big shit-eating grin on his face, and unit written across his uniform. And next to him in his arm is you. And camo fatigues with the words unit written across the uniform. Also with a shit-eating grin on your face. And he's like, I don't know where you came from, man. But my Cillian watched my back and saved my life. I made a wrong bloody call one day.
So, in this world, I was in unit? This thing? I was...
You were my superior officer.
Oh, man.
I was your officer.
You're superior. Just take it, man.
Yes, there you go. I will. How, Mickey? I don't understand. How did I get involved in this without... I don't understand.
It's strange for me to hear you say that, because you recruited me. You got me into unit. You gave me this life. I was second in command of our squad. You and I, God, we saved the world, you and I.
Well, what was I like?
You were... What were you like? You threw yourself in front of a bullet for me.
Oh, bloody hell. But I mean, before all this,
You disappeared one day. You stopped calling. I didn't hear from you anymore. I asked around. I thought you'd maybe run off. You'd always talked about like going to Japan or some weird place that I never thought you would go to. Not that Japan's weird, mind you. It's actually quite lovely. Thought about moving there myself a few times, but...
Yeah, I've still never gone.
You
were right about that. I never did do it. I never did go.
Well, you came back one day looking fantastic, and you had clearance. You took me aside and told me all about unit, told me what you did. I didn't believe you at first. Thought you were crazy.
Makes sense.
But then it started making sense with the doctor and all. Turns out Martha had already heard of unit. She had been keeping it a secret. And one thing led to another. I enlisted. I wanted to do more. I was just a mechanic. I wanted to do more with my life. And because I wasn't traveling with the doctor anymore. But what's weird, man, is that so much history seems to be... It's like the director says. There's a lot that we don't know, that we don't remember from our own lives. All I remember, you threw yourself in front of a killing shot for me after I made a wrong bloody call, mate. It was my fault. You see, he's getting really, he kind of, he's like, I can't tell you what it means to see you like this again, to see you standing here.
Even if I do look like a hobo, pirate, something.
Yeah, I was going to ask. He points at your clothes. He's like, you know, most of the time when people travel with the doctor, no, everyone just knows not to ask. But, man, I thought you were going for the Bowie look. I just didn't want to question it.
You will not believe where I was before this. like yesterday. You wouldn't believe me if I told. Well, maybe you would. Maybe you would.
Well,
but you know what, Mickey? All of this, I think it's just time for me to put it behind myself, because clearly, what we're dealing with here, it's not my life, and you are not the you that I remember. I mean, we're still us, right? But
yeah,
things are different. And listen to me, the moment I'm back around you, listen to my, it all comes flooding back.
Listen, can I ask you for a favor, though?
Yeah, go on then.
It's, could you just do one thing for me?
Let's have it.
Can you forgive me for messing up?
I can.
Thanks, mate. And he just puts his arms around you again, and his voice cracks, and he just holds you tight. He says,
beautiful.
Oh, I could release a pint right now, I swear. And then you guys part. He says, actually, we've got some. We've got some. Do you want?
And from the back, John goes, I've got a tenants here, if you want one.
Hey.
Hey.
So then real quick, we're going to cut to, Finn walking up the staircase to the very top floor, where you see this very large balcony area. And you see Martha out on the balcony next to Rocco, who is just...
Sunbathing.
Bombarding Rocco with questions. Rocco completely unaffected by the onslaught and answering everything at hyper speeds. Here's something that's interesting for you. The last time you saw London was 1712. And as you step out onto that balcony, you've seen a lot of shit in 11 years. A lot of shit. So you're not fazed by much. You've seen... I mean, it's Doctor Who. You've seen it all. You've been jumping, you've been vortex manipulating, you've been in the time vortex.
I've seen a lot.
Yeah. You've seen all kinds of races, you've seen supernovas. Everything you've seen. And when you step out onto the balcony and see London, you immediately think of your parents that you left behind when you got on that ship. You're picturing like the old pubs. You remember the old cobbled streets of London, and like the horses and the smell of manure. Like, things you never thought you were gonna miss.
It smells a lot different now.
Yeah, it looks a lot different.
Not really though.
But like there's the Thames. There's like
the friggin' Tower of London is still here. That was the worst case scenario for
you as a pirate.
There's a lot of
landscapes here that are
we were hired by
a lot of buildings still standing.
Yeah,
all around the place.
That's
we
actually
had a weird agreement.
That's actually probably one of the things that's a little like hot, like amazing to you.
What is?
There's a lot of buildings that are still standing. They don't look quite as new as they did when you last saw them, but like there's structures here that you never thought you'd be standing on the Tower of London, though. This is one place that you were probably grateful never to be involved with, but here you are.
And your London is so pretty. I bet it's sunny like this all the time. I love it so much.
Should we have rolled to see if there was any sun?
Is there sun?
We'll say this is a sunny day in London.
Is the one.
That one sunny day in London.
All the time.
Boy.
Martha turns and looks at you and says, "You're human though, right?"
Well, you know, most of me is.
Oh, she points at your arm and says, I didn't understand until now. That is... I don't want to be intrusive. I know Unit likes to say, oh, can we look at that? And I promise I won't do that. I'm mostly...
You can touch if you like.
Oh, this is so interesting. she touches it and she's like, can you feel that? I thought it might be like Star Wars, you know, like it was a cybernetic hand and I could touch it, but you would know.
You know, when
you can tell me, what are the Star Wars?
Have you never seen Star Wars? Oh no, you
yes, many, but
are they referring to one specific Star Wars?
I don't.
Wow, we are getting into.
I wish Cillian were here.
Two issues we should probably avoid in Doctor Who is Star Wars and politics.
No, I thought it'd be easier not to feel it in case I need to block something.
So you're not married, you live alone, And you've never seen Star Wars?
We've kind of tried
Good
to learn a
Lord.
little bit about cybernetic technology for the purposes of replacing fallen limbs, and we've made great strides, but nothing that advanced. That's incredible. That's quite nice. Looks good on you too, I think. Martha, essentially you guys kind of just shoot the shit with Martha up there on the thing. Yeah, it's pretty surreal seeing London the way she is. But after about, I say about half an hour or so, you guys decide to reconvene downstairs at the CIC. As you gather, as y'all are coming down, Sarah Jane's kind of asked everybody to reconvene as they're putting together a plan of attack, for the breaking into this place. As that's happening, Rose approaches you. And David's with John. And Rose walks up and says, "You left. Didn't even really say goodbye. You just stepped into your TARDIS with Donna and left."
We had to. I've missed you every day.
"We've done all right." She thumbs back to John. "Are you all right? I mean, are you okay?"
I'm fine. You were working with Torchwood, I thought.
"Yes, but..."
How long has it been?
"Years.
Yeah. This world did move faster.
I was working with Torchwood for a bit, and then, well, David. It just seemed to make sense, you know. We'd done so many things. I figured maybe the next adventure was that. But I was worried about you, you know. It didn't seem right to me. And don't get me wrong, I love him more than anything. But I always thought about you, I always worried about you.
Did you ever meet the Doctor of this world?
I wanted to, but he wouldn't. He always stayed away.
Do you know what happened?
No. I caught wind a few times that something had happened, but the director's not wrong. There's a lot of gaps. It's strange too. It's like, remember how people just sort of forget when the Daleks invaded?
Yeah.
It's almost the same phenomenon. It's like no one remembers, no one knows. It's strangeness. I don't understand it myself, but no one knows how the Doctor died. But Sarah Jane came to our house one day to tell us that it had happened. She was very upset. We've tried to keep in touch. Donna's here.
Yeah?
We don't approach her though, because apparently the Donna of this universe never really went on any adventures with you.
Oh.
So we just kind of stay away.
Why are you doing this?
Oh, the food.
We've
For real.
kind of made friends with her.
Yeah.
Sort of an inside thing
I always
between
thought
John
you
and
two
I.
would get on.
She's great. We don't see her much. She got married last year, and she's doing fine. She's living her life, but she has no recollection of the TARDIS or anything. She's never been outside of Earth. So she's just Donna. But she's Donna. I always liked you and her.
A lot happened after the last time we saw you. We
were in Norway. We had to get back home. It's not like we had plane tickets.
Never thought about that.
Just
rural Norway
We were
with
just-
no car.
Yeah, just left them on a beach in Bad Wolf Bay.
Oh, wow.
Thankfully, Dad did have his credit card, so. And he was a rather successful businessman, even though he had questionable history. Mom and Dad are doing fine, by the way. Everything's
Oh,
fine.
lovely. And your baby brother? Sister?
Yeah. There's just a lot to go over, really. But everything's fine. Things got a bit weird after you left with the Cybermen and all that getting cleared out, you know.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been much of a problem. Unit has been really on top of it ever since Sarah Jane took over. But like I said, we've kind of made it a point to not be involved. Yeah. God, this is weird. This is so weird. I mean, even for us, this is weird, you know?
Yeah, a bit.
They're going to take us back home now, and I just wanted to, you know, I guess say hello, goodbye again.
Hello, Rose.
Hello, Doctor. You see that when she says that, just she kind of catches herself and says, well, we should go. Would you like to meet David?
I would love to.
You two walk over, and you, in all your lives, never thought you would see this. You never thought. I mean, you've had a daughter, but it was never this.
There was no baby.
Yes, no, it was a clone-ish recreation daughter. But you approach, and John sees you approaching. You see this smirk.
I'm really excited, but I'm sort of making awkward hands.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
And John smiles as he approaches, and he offers David to you as you approach. And you take David in your arms, and you see this beautiful baby boy who definitely looks like Rose in the 10th version of you.
you're a little miracle you are.
It's of all the yous that you have encountered, this you is burned into your hearts immediately as you're holding him. It's you, as the Doctor, you've met different incarnations of yourself all throughout your adventures. Never have you met this incarnation of yourself. Never did you think you would meet it, but there it is, little baby David. And Rose, the three of you just kind of have this moment by yourselves. And then you hear Sarah say, "We're getting ready." And Rose says, "I'll take him." And as you hand him back, Rose just looks up at you and says, I know I said it a lot of times, but thank you. And for everything, and yeah. John extends his hand and says, "It's good to see you again, Doctor." John works. John's fine.
John.
John.
Tough to get used to, wouldn't it be?
Yeah. She's done a fine job of turning me around the same way she turned you around.
I asked her to help you a bit.
She did.
She's good that way.
Yeah. He looks right at David and then says, "Well," and then he kind of backs away for the two of you. And as he walks out of the room, Rose just says, and she leans over and gives you a kiss on your cheek, and then forces herself to step back and says, "Goodbye, Doctor."
Goodbye, Rose.
And
Goodbye, John. Goodbye, David.
the three of them kind of pause for a moment, and you see them step into the elevator. And you see Rose one last time as those elevator doors just close. And you're left standing there for a minute.
I need you to scan this Donna and find out if she actually did go on adventures with me or not.
She's not allowed
I know
to
you're
do
not in the
that.
room and I can't see that. I'm sorry.
If you can hear me.
I need to make
have telepathy yet.
I need to make my own out of character request.
Yeah.
That we go cruise by a house later.
Can we?
Maybe at the end of all the madness.
Yeah.
You just want to
It's like
screw
an
with your parents.
afterword.
You should just screw with your parents and just walk in. Hey guys, just walk in.
Comedy says like,
Walk in
Not
in
traumatizing at all.
my new uniform with my assault rifle.
Hey, everybody.
Mum, Dad,
Hey, so
it's
you guys,
been real. Not my real mum and dad. They're cool.
like
They're
one of those
cool.
scenes. You're not real.
one of these days, I really want to talk about how cool your dad is in real life. Your real life dad. Can I just blurt it out? Can I just blurt it out?
Sure,
Okay.
yeah. Go for
So this is going to blow your minds, audience. If you guys don't know this at home, this is going to quick time out from the game. Duncan's dad is old school Jim Henson. He was principal puppeteer of Jabba the Hutt. And he was also Sir Didymus in Labyrinth. He was a Skeksis, an ancient one. He was...
No, he wasn't one of the Skeksis.
Well,
he sculpted a bunch of stuff for
sculpted a
Dark
bunch.
Crystal, and he puppeted one of the mystics.
Yeah, he was one of the mystics. He puppeteered one of the mystics. Didn't he also... He was Sprocket.
He was Sprocket in Europe, in European Fraggle Rock.
In the European Fraggle Rock.
Because in each country where it was broadcast, they did different segments with Sprocket and Uncle Traveling Matt in the language of that country.
Right.
And in the US, it was somebody else, but everywhere else in the world, it was my dad. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Your dad was the worldwide Sprocket.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool. My favorite thing is walking into Duncan's house, like your dad's house. There's 2 glass cases filled with like Jim Henson stuff, and I remember seeing the original mold of Yoda from The Empire Strikes Back was in there, and there's this great picture of your dad puppeting Yoda from one of the scenes in Empire in Dagobah, and there was that, and it was signed. What was? I'm sorry. What's
It
your dad's name
says,
again?
Dave, get off my back.
Love
From Mark Hamill, yeah.
Love Mark Campbell. I love. And,
My favorite thing is on the wall in his office.
Yes.
There's a life cast of David Bowie's head for Labyrinth.
Yes, his dad kept it.
And so there's just a plaster, like plaster of Paris,
David
David
Bowie's
Bowie
face.
head in the garage.
I've
So
seen
whenever
it,
I get really sad, I like to go in there and
stare at
and just go stare at Bowie.
It's Bowie's. I've seen it. It's from Labyrinth. It's Bowie's
cool.
face.
That's so
It's
cool.
unbelievable. And
It's
it's just sitting
actually
there.
painful how cool that is.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I'm gonna try and get my dad to come over here one of these days.
Yes.
If he can make
Come
the time.
play with
Dude,
us.
Hector,
If he can make
you
the
guys,
time.
it would be so amazing to interview him and just hear his stories. He's probably got so many hints and stories.
Yeah.
Like, anyway.
Tweet
So-
at _Dunk and then say nice things that he can pass on to his dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say it on Twitter. Let's get
Do
let's-
it.
Come on,
Right.
chat.
It will
Deliver.
happen.
all the love to your
It will
father for
happen.
helping create
I'll
our
get him
childhoods.
over here.
I can't-
Because look, the reason my dad got into film and TV and making puppets and building shit is because of Doctor Who. He's a huge Doctor Who fan. When he was 15, he built a Dalek that you could get in and actually like drive around. He's kind of like a mad inventor.
And because of Doctor Who, your dad contributed to the birth of my childhood. And here we are playing Doctor Who.
Yeah, it's all circular. Yeah.
That is fucking cool. What blows my mind is that he was Sir Didymus in Labyrinth. That's the one because my lady.
The hands as well, you know, the hands.
Yeah?
He's
one of the hands?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, which way?
Which
Okay,
one? Which
sorry, we're
hand?
totally going
Or, like,
off
all of
Doctor Who
them?
here. But
The
not.
biggest
but not.
pair on the screen.
The like.
There's.
She
Crazy
said
one.
down.
I don't remember, but you can tell
late
because
now.
one of the pairs of hands is like really huge. That's my dad.
Everyone in this studio is a fan of your dad's, and
Yeah.
probably everyone watching right now. Okay, so yes, Father of the Year, coolness factor 10. All right, so Sarah Jane has summoned everybody back over to
All right.
the CIC.
Yes.
Yeah. So back to the shit that's going on here in Doctor Who. So you guys approach the CIC table. At the table is Sarah. She has this sort of an outline of the building, probably from like you know how there's like blueprints in the archives for architects. She says we're still trying to make sense of some of these designs. Roko,
Yes.
I need you to make an ingenuity knowledge check, and I'll give you your bonuses for alien technology.
Yeah. All right. Get that Dr. TARDIS combo.
Yes, indeed.
Engineer, 11 plus 7, 18.
Okay, 18. So you, before anybody else, before anybody else even has even the doctor, before anybody else has a chance to actually identify what they're looking at, you're like, oh, this is alien design.
I know this.
Yes, you. Looking at the structural blueprints of this building, because it is, you guys notice it is kind of oddly constructed with some of the support beams in weird places. Roko, you can tell that this is definitely a stronghold. It is inspired by the, oh my god, I'm forgetting their names. The race that conquered your planet starts with
Judoon.
Judoon, yes, inspired by Judoon design. So this is like it's a fortress. The way that the walls are constructed are built to withstand frontal assaults from all angles. Basically, it's designed. If you guys went charging in here, guns blazing, you'd be at a disadvantage. You can also tell from the looks of it that there is no storage area inside. That the entire parts of this building, it looks like it's made to present the appearance of an everyday building, which is not surprising. But just by looking at the design and the hallway designs and the architecture, there's no way this place is used for a storage facility. And to further to push forward on your analysis, the shipping containers that you're seeing moved in and out of some of the footage, the intelligence footage of people observing it, there's no way these storage containers that are being brought into this building would fit in this building or in the doorways that they're moving them into.
Ooh, I know this. Ooh, this is very bad. This is a Judoon stronghold design. I've seen this. This used to be on my planet. But this is not what you said it was. There's no storage here at all. You actually couldn't even fit in this. So this one time I was trying to get into, you couldn't even fit shipping things into this. Those things don't go into those things. But this is a defensive establishment, and it's a Judoon defensive establishment, which means it's going to be very, very hard to get in. I wouldn't recommend going right in. That would be death.
Do I know the Judoon?
Yes. The Judoon are the rhino-looking people that speak in a very strange,
from the Martha Hospital Mars episode? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, they're no good.
No, they're nuts. They're very warrior. They're very conquesty. They're also, as it clicks with you, you realize this is the race that apparently conquered Roko's planet. And probably one of the cultural influences behind Roko's name.
Roko.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I don't say it that way, though.
Yeah. So Roko. So your instinct immediately, as Roko's telling you all this, is they probably have extensive knowledge of how to navigate inside this. But Sarah Jane looks a little surprised, and she says, "Is it possible they're using Time Lord technology? They are Time Lords.
Is it possible this is a lie and you're leading us into a trap?"
We won't know until we arrive. Doctor, do you think you and your companions are up for this?
Oh, they're brilliant. They're fine.
Oh. This is sort of a silly question, I suppose. She smiles. She
I
says,
always have good taste in friends.
Unit will give you any backup you need.
Right, so I'm so sorry, the Judoon came to your world.
Yes, they came here long before I was born, really. It was a whole conquesty thing, and there were Daleks, and, well, really, it's a very long and rather sad story. But on my planet, we did resist them a little bit, the psychic seer forests, but it's a bit hard. They're blasty. They have guns.
They're blasty.
I don't like guns.
They do with the pew-pew, death kind of thing.
Not a fan.
I am going to sneak a peek at Martha if she's in the room, because it's occurred to me, I don't actually know if this version of Martha traveled with me. Does she showing any recognition of Jadoon?
Martha looks like she's staring at the blueprints a little, like as she's hearing Roko give the assessment. Martha looks a little nervous, and you're looking at her just in time for her to lean across, and you can hear her whisper to Mickey, "They're not sending you into that, are they?" And Mickey says, "Yeah, they are. I'm going with them."
All right, we've faced them before, but they're a bit tough.
Yes, but rather thick.
Yeah. But so the temporal guards are using Jadoon technology, but they might also be using. I mean, obviously they're using Time Lord technology. They're Time Lords.
Sarah Jane says, "It's strange to me though. Jadoon technology, generally speaking, is inferior to Time Lord technologies. I wonder why. Perhaps, I don't know. All we have is conjecture. We don't really know until we get inside."
That's a very poor timing for finding things out.
Sarah Jane says, "I have to agree with you, but it's tremendous that you were able to tell us this."
Yes, I tell people things. It's very helpful.
She smiles and says,
Really is.
"If you ever feel like joining unit, please let me know." She
Oh,
smiles.
absolutely not. You're very blasty.
Sadly, that's true. That doesn't come as a bit of a surprise. Unit has had to throw down a few times.
We've had our disagreements.
Yeah. Units had to drop the gauntlet from time to time. Yeah, so...
Can I roll something to stare at these plans and try to look for a way in?
Yeah, go ahead. This would probably be... I'm going to guess this would probably be a...
Say ingenuity.
Ingenuity subterfuge, maybe.
I'm going to think this is going to be... Okay, I'm going to say this is going to be an ingenuity technology check.
Okay. Yeah. Base 13.
That's your wheelhouse.
Now,
Yeah.
this wouldn't be a tech adept thing, though. I'm not using complex.
No, not a
okay.
tech adept.
Yeah. Base 13 plus 3, 16.
16. I mean, it's like there's something that bugs you about this blueprint. Your assessment is that it's very likely Roko is completely correct, but what bugs you about it is it makes no sense, and it makes so little sense that you think it's a ruse. But you're not sure why they would use that as a ruse. Like, what are they getting at? You're not sure. It makes no sense that they would use Jadoon technology unless there was something really beneficial about using it as a stronghold. But the architecture inside itself, I mean, it is capable of withstanding incredible amounts of punishment. But it's the problem is the variables of this reality. There's so many variables that even you, the doctor, are having trouble understanding why some choices have been made.
Yeah.
And there's also some things about this reality that just seem like paint has been thrown at a canvas. Like you're still trying to make sense of the whole picture.
Yeah.
You had your fingers on the pulse of the universe from the reality that you came from. And you're kind of trying to learn this universe's heartbeat still.
Yeah.
So it doesn't quite make sense.
Where did you get these plans?
Sarah Jane looks hesitant. She says, she looks over at Mickey, and Mickey, when Mickey sees that he's being looked at, you see he kind of leans back in his chair.
Mickey.
He says, "It's your call, ma'am." And Sarah Jane says, "We have an asset. The same asset that we've been using for the technologies that you've been questioning." And without missing a beat, K9 says, "Asset number 191111815. And Sarah Jane immediately. So you want me to read that off again because I see you writing it down.
19111111815.
You see Sarah Jane shoot a glance at K9 and says, K9.
K9, full info on asset 19111111815, please.
What'd you ask?
K9, full info on asset 19111111815, please.
K9, don't you dare. And you hear Sarah Jane raises her finger and she says, we have a deal, remember?
We're going to get a bit more information once we've got into this base.
Best way to find out who's inside, I guess, is to just go knock on the door. So let's do that, shall we?
Maybe not the front
I'm going to...
Apparently you can't sneak inside, so how about we just try the front door?
You can sneak through front doors.
Yeah, with guns.
Oh.
Not the blasty kind, just the defensive kind.
Clearly she hasn't
I'm
seen
curious
Lord
if
of the
anyone
Rings
at home, any of you guys watching, any of you Whovians at home, I'm curious if any of you guys are going to figure out that, I will say this to sort of throw this out to the audience, that is a riddle, that asset number. So anybody watching at home, see if you can figure out that asset number.
You already know it?
No, I just
I
bet there's a thing here.
I got this.
So challenge
I'm
anybody at
reading the
home to
number.
try to figure out what that number was, but it does play into the game today. So I will give you guys that little bit of
I have no clue.
breadcrumb.
It's not Finn's job.
Okay.
Knowledge should...
Okay. Let's see here. Gotta time this out right. We're at 2:30 already. All right, so.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, time flies. Sorry. Okay, so you guys, she says, right now, our only method is to do a stealth insertion from above via helicopter. We have a stealth ship helicopter that we can drop you all off on the roof of the building, sort of night ops style, so to speak.
Cool.
I don't know, Doctor, you will know more than anyone how efficient this will be against Time Lords, but I doubt they know that we're coming. And they are certainly not counting on you being there.
I rather hope not.
But we might need to plan this for tomorrow night so that we can see if we can somehow find a way to cloak your Time Lord DNA.
I was just going to ask about that.
Yes. She looks at you again.
I told Sarah Jane that we might be able to have a talk about mainly the sensor portions of your vortex manipulators. If it can help them to hide Rose and baby David.
That was what I was suggesting before she got a bit snippy.
So then yes?
Brilliant! But nothing you don't think... They don't want the travel technology.
Is
they
the
don't
sensor part of it something I can just take off? Or do I have to give them the whole thing?
What's your technology rating, out of curiosity?
4.
I'm going to set the difficulty at 15. Go ahead and make a knowledge. Go ahead and make an ingenuity and technology roll. I want to see how well Finn knows this temporal manipulator. Because you've had it for a while. You may have learned a few things about it.
What else did you say? Technology and what?
It's technology and ingenuity. Difficulty is 15, so it's tricky.
15.
15. Okay. In your years of using this thing, you've learned how to maintenance this thing to make sure that it doesn't break on you. You're also aware that the temporal manipulations, when they try to get tweaked a little too much by the temporal guard, you've seen it have disastrous results for the temporal guard. The temporal guard are this, and I'll leave it to you if you want to impart this information to everybody else. But with the 15, what you know about these temporal manipulators is that it's highly volatile, but it is possible to remove the sensor unit. It's all part of one system, but you might risk
destroying it.
Well, it's not just destroying it.
Or the tiny bits.
It's not just destroying the thing is whenever you manipulate or screw with something that manipulates the time vortex, and doctors would probably know this too, you risk doing more than just breaking it. You miss breaking things that usually can't be broken.
Does all of this include them tinkering with it? Not just me giving them just the sensor?
Yeah, because they're going to have to tinker with it to get the sensor.
Yeah, they're going to be doing it anyway.
And you don't even know how qualified they are to mess with one of these things. They did have Captain Jack's vortex manipulator. So
we don't know that.
At one point, a unit has had contact with that. So, but you don't know how capable they are of messing with these. These are the temporal guard manipulators. This is Gallifreyan technology that's been developed just recently. There's a lot of variables.
Yeah.
What you know about these things, where the water stops, is that they could remove the sensor, but it would be challenging. The Doctor is very familiar with Time Lord tech, obviously, and would probably know more.
Okay.
But it would be up to you to dissect one of these things. Like I said before, Doctor, you've never seen Time Lord technology like this. You've seen the vortex manipulators, but they're using it in ways you've never seen the time vortex manipulated. So it might be a curiosity for you as well.
They don't want the vortex manipulation parts, but perhaps we could both keep an eye on the proceedings?
I like that. I just know these things are quite temperamental.
Yeah.
You know, with all the... Well, yeah, they're connected to the time stuff, and that tends to not go that well if you happen to remember the last time you visited me.
Sorry about that.
Make a knowledge plus science roll.
You've seen this. You've used one of these before. I don't know if they have. I don't...
Unit has seen them before, but
What'd you get?
I believe Sarah Jane when she says they aren't going to try to mess with the actual time travel.
Okay.
They don't have to bring down the TGs on them.
19 is great.
Right, but remember the last time you messed with these, you amplified your signal.
These temporal, these vortex manipulators, they have also, you've witnessed, because you guys have encountered some of the same temporal guard over and over and over, and as somebody who's familiar with biology, you've seen these temporal manipulators, and you've noticed them as well in yourselves over the time that y'all have used them. Nothing detrimental yet, and you probably...
Keep an eye.
Yeah, it has a biological effect.
What?
Yeah. But
I was going to tell you anytime now.
well, here's the thing. You're not sure what it is. It may not be bad, but what you've noticed is like some of these time lords, it's been difficult for you to lock down the right data here because of all the time manipulation that takes place. But you're not sure if you are... One thing you've noticed is it's possible that some of these Time Lords have aged a little bit using this technology. There's some instability probably that comes from it, but you're not sure what the biological effects of it are just yet. It doesn't seem to have affected, physically it doesn't seem to have affected you two just yet. But there is also that bit of information. These things, you've noticed like every now and then when y'all use these things, you'll get dizzier and dizzier over the years. You've kind of noticed a little bit. But it's always, it's always been...
Anytime I really was...
I just thought it was hungover.
But look, you guys are jumping through the time vortex.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh my God, it's because...
Yeah. I haven't found a grey hair on my head yet.
No.
Alexanders have good genes.
Yes. So nothing like that, but there is that aspect as well. You do know that they affect biology. You just don't have enough data because you two have not been able to break these things open and analyze them. You've just been using them as tools to get around and do what you got to do.
Yeah, yeah. I'm an anthropologist. I'm not a...
Yep.
Damn it, Jim. Yeah, so...
Right.
Sarah
I will
Jane
probably
just says,
distribute that information to the doctor.
it might be necessary to open one of these before we go inside. If you're available, if you're willing to do it. It's just that the temporal guard, they have the ability to use these so easily, and we don't know what the risks are.
I told her I'd have a word with you. I didn't promise what you'd say.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, I know, but...
I think these are a very bad thing to use to protect little people.
Do you have a better idea, though?
Maybe if I had more data, but right now I don't.
I think we might have to share our information with UNIT here.
It's not... Well, I don't like sharing information with people who don't share it with me, but really these aren't necessarily always the best, most stable way of interacting with the time vortex, and I wouldn't want it to hurt somebody. I wouldn't want it to hurt the sapling. Or the others.
Where are they, by the way? Did you guys just let them go?
They were sent back to their place of residence per Rose's request. She was rather adamant, and I understand why. But we do have them under observation. I don't believe we will have a problem. Like I said, we have had them under observation for some time now.
Yeah, well, they found them once.
They were going to kill a whole crowd of people just to get them.
It wasn't that hard
We
to
have
find their signal, Doctor.
Well, that's why we got to figure out how to hide them.
I say we go ahead with it because
Rocco.
I know you don't
you want
like
to do it?
Of course I don't want to do it. I think it's a bad idea to mess with technology that you don't fully understand. I don't even fully understand it.
I know, but don't you want to see inside of it?
And
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You pulled that card.
You know somebody's buttons.
It's almost like we traveled together
It's
for
almost
11
like I
years.
know what'll make her want to do it.
Rocco, they're just like,
Them.
Doctor, I don't think they should do it, but if you want to, that
Sarah-
could be interesting.
Sarah Jane says, I think that would actually be perfect. And you see some of the members of UNIT look a little disapproving, but no one says anything. But Sarah Jane says, if we can agree that this technology will not be taken by UNIT, but just used for the purposes of protecting and for the intelligence gathering of these temporal guard, would that put you more at ease? And in return, Doctor, you will be the one that performs the procedure to open these temporal devices open to learn more about the sensor apparatus inside. Would that put you more at ease?
Yeah.
Go.
I just yeah.
If it's you, Doctor, I trust you.
And I trust Sarah Jane.
Thank you, Doctor. Tell us what you need.
Yeah.
And then I tell them what I need.
And then the doctor, and then the doctor goes into what we like to call technobabble.
Yep. Reverse the polarity of the vortex manipulation.
Yes.
Can
Quick
we be
side.
in the room, though?
What's that?
You do you know how many nasty bits it would take to drag me away?
Quick side note.
I wanted you to do it. Not you.
The old.
I couldn't.
Well, I will
Bad
say.
idea.
So.
I'm an anthropologist.
Yeah. So
Science?
your species, Rocco.
Yeah.
is technology level 7, so interstellar travel and investigations and stuff like that. Time Lord technology is Time Lord level 10.
Yeah.
So if you futzed with this, you'd be at much less of a disadvantage, but you would also have been at risk if you tried to crack this thing open and
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Let's see what those Gallifreyan.
I was going to say, quick side
been up
note,
to.
and I loved this, and I've tried to pull it off, but for people who want to play an engineer in the Star Trek RPG that came out like in 99 or 98 from Unicorn Games, which has been out of print for like a decade and a half, they had a technobabble table that you could roll on and just come up with words, so you could sound like you're an engineer. And I have always thought that was brilliant.
That is brilliant.
Because that's what everyone gets intimidated about. Yeah, because when you play the Doctor, I imagine it must be intimidating. You've got to come up with all of this Matt Smith jargon, this Tom Baker jargon, where you're just like blurting this stuff out. But it is possible.
Let me see which
because it's a
circuits
game.
maintain the flow.
Okay. So
and you've already messed with mine once before, so you're familiar with them.
Didn't work so well, but
you were led down to the laboratories.
The amplifier.
what?
You are all led down to the laboratories where they do this sort of thing. Okay, so what you would notice when you guys arrive in the laboratories, which is on floor whatever, because you're in unit.
Yeah.
When you arrive on the floor of the laboratory, and this doors slide open. This is clearly the heart of unit. It's not the command center, but it's clearly you. When this door opens, you see alien tech from all over the place that hasn't been implemented yet. You do see a dismantled Cyberman who's been splayed out across one of the walls. It looks like it's taken several like there are holes in the breastplate, like maybe it was shot and destroyed. And it looks like all of the biological components have been removed, so it's just the Cyberman.
Good.
Yeah, no, it's not like a severed torso bleeding. No, all the biological components have been removed, but you do see it has been splayed out across the wall and dissected. So there's just technology and Cyberman tech. But it is also behind cases. And each piece of this technology has been separated from the other one. And Doctor, you immediately recognize these devices on the side of every case that's inhibiting any possible transmissions whatsoever from getting out. But it's being kept locked in a back area where you see things are quarantined off in sort of like a separate room as you're walking through. So it's like looking through a glass wall into like the quarantined area of technologies that are highly dangerous.
Can't say that's a pleasant sight.
Yeah, it's a little like. First of all, I don't know. I'll leave it to you. Have you two ever encountered the Cybermen in your 11 years of jumping the galaxy? I'll leave it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, then yes. Okay, you see.
I always thought that your arm was from like scavenged components from Cybermen.
That would be a problem. That would be.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way.
I thought I got my arm from the Resistance.
That's what I. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's from the Resistance. If you got.
Well, I don't know where it came from.
No. The Resistance is the one that helped you
Yeah,
build
yeah.
that. So if that had been Cybermen.
So tell me, did the Resistance use Cyberman parts?
No, because if they did, there's a high probability you'd be a Cyberman by now.
Ooh, it's a good thing I'm not.
In Star Trek speak, it would be like, oh, Borg technology. I'll just equip that to my eye. I'm sure I'll be fine.
You just kept talking about upgrading last episode, and I was like,
Yeah. Side note, the Borg were
I'm really
inspired.
obsessed with
Side note, the
deleting
Borg were inspired by Cybermen.
Really?
that makes so much sense.
In fact, the episode where the Borg were introduced is called Q-Who,
Yoo-hoo.
because the writers of Star Trek are all Doctor Who fans.
Of course.
Of course
As
they
they
are.
should be.
So, anyway. I love
Well,
Star Trek.
this seems fun.
Yeah, so when you guys see that Cyberman, there's this immediate, that sort of acknowledgement that you are in the presence of one of the most horrible creatures you've encountered. That thing, even in its death state, it's like, it sort of has the same, like in D&D when you see a dead dragon, it's still a dragon. It's dead, but holy hell. So it's still, when you see it, this Cyberman split up across the wall, because its head is intact. And it's frightening to look at, that emotionless, cold steel look.
Those are even blastier than Unit.
Cool looking robot though. All those pieces.
No.
Are they? Do they make those here?
Few things more dangerous than that.
Sarah James says, "Good God, no."
Promise me if you ever see one of those, you'll run.
All right.
Been a while
So
since I've seen one of those.
you're led into the room where you see it looks like a containment unit where you're able to do your work.
Right.
So everyone steps back and lets you have the room.
I give the doctor mine.
Take it off, hand it to the doctor. And doctor, you enter the room. Cameras are on, so you can actually see what the doctor is doing. You are just in there with your sonic screwdriver. It looks like. So okay, doctor. We are going to need you to make a ingenuity technology roll, and definitely get your bonus from this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Story points.
So
Please don't blow up everything.
this is going to be difficult. It's 21. You need a 21.
I've got a base 13.
So you're in good shape. There's a chance, but you're in good shape. So it's difficulty 21.
No, base 15. Okay.
Oh, you're in very good shape. So don't mess this up, doctor.
I think it's something you don't want to mess
I
up.
think this is a pretty good moment to not blow everyone up.
Yeah.
Or tell everyone where we are.
Yep, that's the other.
Go ahead and get that story point back. Everyone has done some amazing role playing today, so I'm going to give everyone 2 story points.
Oh.
Yay!
So gain 1 back, Amy +1, and yeah.
Cool.
And go ahead and go ahead, and make your roll.
Next game, I imagine.
I'm going to spend mine on convincing Sarah Jane to be not evil.
I'll spend them to get
By
another
the way,
read.
special thanks to the audience that's been very patient with me today. I am playing all of the most iconic characters in Doctor Who, and it is not easy. I'm sure I'm not doing any of them justice, but it's a game, and so we're having fun, so whatever.
How dare you have fun?
Your fun is wrong. Your fun is wrong. All right, so go ahead.
All right, I've spent the story point, so I've got base 15 and
make your roll. I'm sure you're going to blow it out.
9.
Did
So
you roll
I'm
over
at
21?
24 plus 5. I'm at 29.
29.
We may have
You do
overreacted.
fantastic.
Good.
No, this is great.
This is when you want to.
do so well. You basically learn everything you can learn about this.
Yay!
As you pop this device open, first of all, the first thing you notice is, yes, it is definitely Time Lord in origin, just like you suspected. They're using all of the technologies that they helped use build the TARDIS. Having said that, if somebody had tried to open this and dissected itself, it's entirely possible that they would have shattered the vortex unit itself, which could have possibly caused a rupture in space-time and destroyed maybe half the planet.
And it's a good thing I don't have insatiable curiosity.
These two don't realize that they were probably walking around with time bombs on their arms.
Yeah.
The other thing you also notice is that these vortex manipulators are capable of warping space-time around themselves. So, in other words, what the TGs are probably using this for, and what probably makes them lethal in combat, is they're able to manipulate spatial energy around them to sort of enter bullet time, like in the Matrix, which makes them. But what you know from looking at this technology, it's incredibly volatile to localize it to that fine of a point. So your guess is vortex manipulators have probably killed a few temporal guards.
Yeah.
But then they regenerate. So what your guess is that the people who are using these are zealots or crazy people.
Willing to take their lives into their hands every single time they strap
roll the
them on.
dice. But we kill everything that you need to kill. The sensor unit is triangulated to detect Time Lord technology. And just from that roll, that incredible roll, you could, in fact, generate a tech using this as a base point. You could possibly build something that would be able to mute a Time Lord's DNA signature.
Fantastic.
There are pieces missing, though. You would need more time with this.
Okay.
I'd
also love to, while I'm looking at it, I'd love to know if there's any way that I can, put something, set my sonic up to disrupt or impair, or I don't necessarily want to blow them up and create breaks in the space-time continuum,
sort of
but
stop
when
at
we
the way you
encounter
stop the
people
guns.
with them,
Yeah. That's entirely possible with story points expenditure and stuff like that. I will say that in order to build the tech that you need to mute Time Lord signature and to build what you're suggesting, you're going to need at least a week.
Oh boy. I've got Buffin. That helps.
Yeah.
And Gadget.
If only there was some kind of time
Come
machine.
back next week. She'll be finished.
Sarah Jane says, so what's
terrible.
the assessment, Doctor?
I think we can do it. I think we can mute the signals.
Great.
These things are very
We have to do this
dangerous.
tomorrow, so this is very fortunate that we have managed to pull this off. Tell us what you need from us.
I'm afraid I need a bit more time.
there's nobody. There's nobody in this room that has the level of intellect or technology that you need to help you get this job done in the time span that you need it.
I do know another Time Lord, though. I mean, he's half Time Lord.
It's possible. You could bring it up. I mean, it's certainly possible, yeah.
I need help to get this done.
What kind of help?
I wonder if we might reach back out to John.
Sarah Jane just... There's no way. Rose has made it very clear. I suppose we could ask. And then you hear Mickey say, we could let the asset help, ma'am. And you see Sarah Jane just this sort of haunted look over her face. And he says, ma'am, you've already promised them and it's only a matter of time. If we only have till tomorrow to do this, for whatever the time frame we've built for it, maybe we just do it. And Sarah Jane looks, she says, God forgive me.
What have you done?
You should come with me.
Close up.
You close it up. You've never seen this look on her face before. All the looks you're familiar with, she looks very grave with you. And she says, just the doctor. Just for now. No one else.
But I want to know.
You can tell them when you get back, but just you for now.
All right. I'm going to hand you the vortex manipulator.
She comes out and hands it to you. Okay. Sarah Jane leads you to the elevator.
Be careful with that thing.
And she presses a button. You see her swipe her card and like put her eye into like a retina scanner. And the elevator begins to move and she says, you have to promise me that you won't judge me.
I don't like the sound of that.
You're not going to like this very much. But we have been placed in unusual circumstances. And we have to use every advantage that we have. And you know me. I wouldn't have done this unless it was absolutely necessary. And the elevator comes to a stop. And when it opens, you see a long hallway. And at the end, a pair of double doors. And she steps through and starts walking to the double doors. I'm guessing you're going to follow after her?
Follow.
Okay, she approaches the double doors. And she stops in front of them. And then you hear a voice on the other side say, "Enter. I know you're there." And she takes a deep breath and slides open the door. And you see...
Hello, Doctor.
Davros.
What?
Sitting 10 feet away. Right there, plugged into technology and a desk in front of him, waiting for you, not surprised to see you at all.
I am the asset. I can assist you.
Sarah Jane Smith, what on earth has happened?
She says, you have to understand that the Time War took an effect that we didn't... He came to us. We had no choice, Doctor. We had no choice.
Don't look so sad, Doctor. We can work together.
That's something I haven't heard before.
It's something I've never done before.
The Davros I've met was not a cooperative fellow.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Doctor, if there is anyone that can help you with that device, in the time frame that we need it, it will be him.
You said the Daleks had been destroyed.
she looks caught and she says, they have. Davros is the only living member of their race. The Time Lords, Doctor, I don't know what reality you're coming from, but in this one, the Time Lords are the enemy.
And in this one, Davros, what do you want?
They made a deal with me. They would let me stay alive if I helped.
That doesn't answer my question.
I want what everyone wants. To stay alive.
If you want to make an do you want to make a? I'll let you make an ingenuity awareness check, and actually have Davros' stats for you. Jason Charles Miller, everybody.
Yay!
One of. Oh no! Were you did you guys miss all of that? Did the audience catch any of that?
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, I'm close enough to yours. Probably.
Okay, good.
Oh, thank goodness.
All right. So.
That was such a good speech.
Yes, indeed.
Do it again.
Jason Charles Miller
took a class in Davros Improv.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons. All right, so resolve and let's see.
Nice.
Okay.
Skills.
So,
It's the only two things I could think of. I
I've been
wasn't
thinking
thinking
it
that.
would be the master, but then he mentioned the master earlier, so I was like, yeah.
yeah, everyone goes straight for the master. Okay, you know what?
Only the
I do have
last
the
couple
master
minutes I was
goatee,
starting to
but-
think
Yeah,
maybe
you
Davros,
got the
but
thing going
ball.
on. Okay, cool.
I couldn't crack the
I was
code.
thinking
So-
an
Join
actual
over there or next week?
We're
I
just
knew it
about to
wouldn't
wrap
be
up.
that
So let's
because
just hear what the
there's
doctor.
That's an episode.
Yeah, that's
So, doctor, what was your role?
that was the only reason.
19.
You cannot read Davros to save your life. You do not know what this creature's intention is, but everything, the Emperor of the Daleks has always been one of the most lethal entities this universe, or any universe, has ever known. And
Hand thing. He always does this.
yeah, he always does the hand thing. And here he is. And for all intents and purposes, it seems like he just wants to help. And that is where we're going to
Yeah.
No one wants to see that.
Joining us next week, Jason Charles Miller as Davros, Emperor of the Daleks. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah.
Thanks for jumping in this last
I
second.
was wondering why you were lurking.
Yep, he's been lurking around, ready
It wasn't
to
my
jump in
normal
there.
just lurking. It was actually lurking
like
with
you
a
were lurking
purpose
with
for
a
once.
purpose.
Yeah.
There's marketing.
So Jason is old school, like hardcore. He's seen every single episode of Doctor Who, from the original black and white first episode to the most recent. So
Bloody hell,
he's
that's-
been
I
hungering.
mean, it's
to
been
jump
a
in.
while since I've seen the old ones, but they're
Yeah.
they're in here somewhere.
Yeah. So it'll be sweet to have you on and playing our super mega villain turned ally. But yeah. So we're going to conclude today's game. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Jason Charles Miller.
Thank you.
For jumping in. Real quick before we fade out, I want to thank two things. I just want to thank you guys so much. We're on episode 5 of this show, and what was supposed to be just sort of like a casual RPG show, you guys have really turned this into something. Like the love you guys have been showing us, and the love you've been throwing at our wonderful cast and me and everything, and all the Whovian love we're getting out there. Thank you so much for that. It's so much fun. I know we're saturated with RPG shows, but you guys have helped turn this one into something really special. And I just want to also give all of my love and admiration, I'm going to get all emotional here, to Sir John Hurt, who we lost, who played the War Doctor, and many other roles. He was one of my favorites that has ever dawned. I got to watch John Hurt speak live at Gallifrey 1, and it was such an incredible experience to listen to him talk about his experience with Doctor Who. So all of our love to John Hurt, and all of our love to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I don't have Is It Thursday yet, so I'm just going to say have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you so much, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.